All right. It says we're preparing the live stream.
It says it's live right now, Tom, I think.
Yeah,
It says we're live.
Yeah.
we're alive.
All right. Hey everybody, Shmaka Magab. It's Almost Human Live with the Almost Humanoids, Count Ralphus and Tony Dio and the occasional humanoid Al Horta from Black Spinner Circle.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, we were talking about what we were going to do this week, and since it's the anniversary, 50th anniversary actually, uh, Tony said, "Let's have Al Horta on," and I told Tony, but he likes power windows, man.
I don't mind it, but I'm not a huge fan of it actually, but I don't hate it, like you guys do, but it's fine. Cause,
I don't own
cause,
it.
cause, cause when I was start getting into Rush, I mean, well, I got into Rush when Signals was new. So yeah, it was a bit of a shock though when that came out, man. Though too much, there was a lot of keyboards, man. A lot of keyboards. So, but
Oh
anyway,
yeah.
we're not here to talk about that one.
Yeah, sucks. That and even worse, the next one.
Hold your fire.
Woo! Yeah, Rush lost me. All my friends jumped off the Rush train.
Oh,
Most,
I know a lot that did, man.
most during Signals, some during uh then
Great,
the next half.
Grace
Like,
under pressure.
Race under pressure. Yeah.
I hung on. I think Manny's here. I hung on, but then Power Windows came and I was like, oh, I can't defend this shit. You know what I'm saying? So
I think
hey,
that I think the divide
Manny.
I think the dividing line back in the day was Signals. Signals was the dividing line. That made a lot of people kind of jump off. I think as time has gone on, I think the dividing line moves up to Grace under pressure now. I think a lot of acceptance for Signals is I think it's been kind over time. Like people have kind of accepted that album more. It was a shock at the time because it was very different than Moving Pictures. It was, people were probably expecting Moving Pictures Part Two, and they veered off in another different direction. They seem to change directions like every two albums. If you look at their discography, you can kind of pair up their albums, in a way. Like for me, like well, the first album is its own entity, but then like Fly By Night and Crush of Steel, you can kind of pair up. And well, actually, you could pair up Crush of Steel with 2112 too, and then Farewell to Kings and Hemispheres, you pair those up, and then Permanent Waves, Moving Pictures, and so on and so forth. But I think Grace and Pressure is more like the dividing line now. I think after this album was when a lot of people jumped off. Pretty much anybody that was really into hard rock. You know, but
It's
there was
funny. The
yeah,
first one I ever got was Signals.
yeah.
You know,
I
and
hear I hear a brother and sister thing with the first album, Fly By Night. I do feel like, I mean, of course, the drumming and the musicianship's a little tighter and complex, but then it has stuff like Best I Can
Which was around when Rutsy was in
yeah,
the
yeah.
band because
And,
they did that on that video.
and
Yeah,
Fly By Night could have fit on the first album. I mean,
yeah,
it has its elements too. What's
yeah.
up, Manny? Hi, Manny.
Hey, I
Manny,
didn't know you guys. I thought you guys
so
were on at 8:40 or at 9 o'clock, so I'm late. So
Yeah, it is nine.
okay, it was at 9. Okay, because you guys. All right, cool. All
you're right,
right,
man.
all
Manny has
right,
lost track of time.
dude. I've lost track of lots of things. So we're talking about Rush 2112. I'll wait till Alpha.
2112 presents from Led Zeppelin both have 50th anniversaries this week. And Kreator totally
I
off
love that Creator album, dude. Yeah,
totally left off here, but this is the 40th
40.
anniversary of Pleasure to Kill.
I didn't listen to Creator till the '90s. I didn't. I mean, I heard of them, but I never bought any of their stuff. So. Uh, But Pleasure to Kill, Terrible Certainty, is that the
That's
What was
the
that
next
was my
one.
That's the
first.
third one.
That was the next one.
Terrible
after.
Certainty was my first.
What was the one they were on a major label? Oh, by the
Extreme
way, how you
Aggression.
feeling, Count Ralph?
I'm good,
I-
man. Back
You
in
look
the
good. You
back
look
in the
good.
saddle.
Feeling good.
Back in the Zoom saddle.
That's
Good.
it,
You
man.
look good, by the way.
Thanks, man.
He's got a creator hat on.
Well, of
Yeah,
course he's got a creator hat. Between you and him and Ralph, you guys own every piece of vinyl ever.
this is a vintage from the '80s, and it's got like the trucker hat, so it's got like the little pegs. There's one peg holding this thing on my head. All of them just like fell off. There's like no more peg. I only pull it out for every now and again for one of these episodes when it's fitting. I was gonna wear a Pleasure to Kill shirt. I see Ralph's got one, and I'm glad we're not wearing the same shirt again. But I just couldn't find it. I was looking through all these bins for it. I was like kind of pissed that I couldn't find it, and I was like, "Fuck it, I'll wear the hat, throw a Rush shirt on."
Yeah,
instead.
but Ralph, it'd be cool if we wear the same shirts. It'd be
No,
like,
we already got the same name. We got to.
yeah, no, it'd be cool because then people think we're homos.
We almost got the same birthday. We got the same length hair.
Hey, look,
I
look,
wear shoes though when I do
yeah,
YouTube.
yeah, yeah,
I don't
yeah.
go
You,
barefoot.
you got to take off the shoes, dude. We got to be known as Ralph the Homos. Barefoot YouTuber.
Hold up
Well-
every time we hold up a
Oh.
CD, we'll put it in our toes and we'll just hold it up to the camera with it.
Please
Oh,
don't do that. Please don't.
by the way, I'm mega embarrassed. I didn't notice this. Damn. I've been doing the show all this time with my fly zipped all the way up. Wait, hold on. Let me.
You got to put it
There
down.
we go. Now
There you
let,
go.
let it,
There you go.
let it,
What
let
about
it
your
breathe.
female fan?
Let it breathe. I always got to remember you have to do the show barefoot and with the zipper down, with the fly open. That's what I should call myself, the fly open barefoot YouTube.
Fly open by night.
Command.
Well,
fly
Ralph,
open by night.
seriously,
Yeah,
I'm
fly
glad
open by
that.
night.
really-
And it is night, you know.
Yeah. Well, Ralph, I'm really glad to see you back, and I'm glad to see you healthy, man. That is,
Yeah, me too, man.
Yeah, man.
And Ralph was back last week. It was twice. He was with us 2 times last week.
And on Monday, I'm going to my first concert. So since all this shit, so
What are you
going
gonna
to
see?
going to see Negative Approach, the Gorilla Biscuits, and Circle Jerks.
Wow.
Right.
What? The Gorilla Biscuits are still around?
Yeah, I think they just recently got back together because they haven't put out any albums or anything. And
Wow.
all of a sudden, they're out there playing again.
I bought the Keith Morris biography. Well, I guess autobiography. I haven't read it yet, but
Oh,
memoir.
it's great. I loved it. I read it.
I just went to a show on Tuesday. I went to go see the Alan Parsons Project.
Yeah, dude. They were
Now,
playing.
I don't know much.
I'd
about
love to
Alan.
see him.
My brother called me. He goes, "Dude, I got free tickets to see Alan Parsons." I was like, "Well, yeah, I don't remember their songs, but I said, fuck it, I get to go out. It's at the Broward Center of Performing Art, beautiful place." So I went on YouTube, and yeah, man, there was like 4 or 5 songs. I'm like, I know this song, I know that song, and yeah, when that show was phenomenal. It's cool to go to a show and just chill. And let me tell you, man, some of their songs were very Pink Floydish. Because, you know,
Oh, yeah.
Alan Parsons did work on Dark Side of the Moon. He's on that album. He's also on the
Yeah.
Beatles, Abbey Road. And yeah, there's something wrong with old Alan Parsons, man. The whole time he was on a stool playing. And then when he came to say his goodbyes, he had 2 guys help him out. So,
Oh, wow. Okay.
Well, yeah, he's like 90 or something. That's what's wrong with him, man.
If he's 90, then he's using Just for Men. He got that black ass beard.
Oh, I'm sure, man.
But
I'm sure he's in his 80s.
The Alan Parsons Project never toured during their heyday. I mean, they started touring like
No, sure did.
Yeah.
Sure did.
Yeah, it's
Kind of like
crazy.
Steely Dan.
and you know what's funny? Like the place was fucking packed. That place holds about maybe 4,000, 5,000. I mean, it was packed, and a bunch of old people that you would expect, except 2 people next to me were in their 20s, and the whole fucking show they sang every song. And I told them after the show, I was like, "Man, how old are you?" And one said, "I'm 22," and the other one said, "I'm 26." And I go, "Hey, how'd you get into Alan Parsons? Your dad?" "No, we found that shit out on our own." I was like, "Really?" You go, "Yeah, we're big fanatics of Alan Parsons." It's weird, and they're like 2 they look like college kids, like two they look like decent people, and that was wild. So yeah, I left the show going, yeah, I'm gonna go home and illegally download some Alan Parsons Project stuff
Yeah.
and throw it in my iPod.
Just get there's a really good best of album
Well,
you can find it anywhere.
there's an album called I, Robot that's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's that. Yeah.
Turn of a Friendly Card is a good one too. I have that one on vinyl. It looks like a church, like stained glass on the front. Like
Yeah.
it's really cool. That's a good album too, man.
And they
So-
had
He's 77 years old, by the way, not
He's
90.
77? Oh.
wow.
Oh, he's
He
only
looks
so
he
really
looks so
young when
much
he,
older.
an engineer on that Abbey Road because it's 1969.
I know,
No,
man. That's
that's
what
like,
makes me
yeah,
think he'd be so much older. I mean, think
yeah.
about it. Ian Gillan's 80, so or 81. So good Lord, man.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But
Yeah,
they had Jeff Coleman on guitar, I think, and that dude's smoking, man. He's played with everybody,
dude,
Blue Hughes and
everybody up on that stage was smoking. That bass player was sick. And it had two guitar players that are both amazing, most amazing singers. Now, Alan Parsons sang like most of the hits. Most of the
Really?
songs I knew, Alan Parsons was the one singing them. And
No, it was
I
another.
understand.
There were two other guys that used to sing those songs,
Yeah.
Ralph.
yeah, I
Both
know,
passed
but
away.
I'm saying some of the hits they played that night, it was Alan Parsons singing it.
How did he sound?
He sounded amazing. He didn't sound like he had any health issues. He sounded badass. The way it was set up, like, it was like the band's on the stage and he was above everybody. And the drums were over here. So he's all the way up here performing, on a stool and singing. And it was awesome, though. Musically, very fucking cool to see
Yeah.
something like that. And they had a laser show thing going on. It was just cool, man. I mean, I don't go to many shows like that. The last time I went to a show even similar to that was Victor Wooten, the jazz dude.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But other than that, all I do is go to metal shows and hard rock shows. So it's
Well,
cool.
me
to
and
take a
me
break.
and Al would see Joe Bonamassa, and I always joke with Al. I love these shows because you and I look younger than everybody here. But but I was really surprised how much older that crowd was, considering Joe Bonamassa's.
Younger than us.
Yeah, younger
He's not
than
even
us.
50 yet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It was literally an older crowd. I was
Well,
really surprised by that.
Yeah, blues music usually attracts more of an older crowd anyway. So, but we saw
Yeah.
that Alan Parsons was playing there on Sunday, and Manny was like, "Hey, we should go to that." And I was like, "I'll try to get tickets for it," and then I remembered my daughter and my wife were coming back from a trip, and they weren't getting back till Sunday night. So I had to. There would have been no way for me to pick them up, so I didn't end up going. I would have liked to see Alan Parsons though; it would have been great. But hopefully he comes back around.
Yeah, it's that would have been really cool. And the place me and Al saw him is this place called The Sound, and it's an outdoor
Amphitheater.
amphitheater. Yeah, we saw Alice there, and it's a really cool. What's it sit like 2,000? You think?
Yeah, it's a small amphitheater, so it's more intimate. It's not a huge, like a big amphitheater. It's small. The sound is great, and yeah, it's more intimate. I would say it seats like maybe 4,000.
Oh, okay, but yeah, it's small, but it's really cool. I can't believe the acts they're bringing through there, though.
Yeah, big acts, man.
Yeah, because back when it first opened, it was like old, Motown.
I think Cheap Trick was one of the first shows there.
Yeah, it was. It was one of the first rock shows. Yeah, it's a really cool menu. I saw Diana Ross at this girl because she had free tickets and she begged me to go. And I went because nobody wanted to go with her, and I freaking enjoyed it. It was great. So
Joe Mesa is playing the original Woodstock. We just got the lineup for the season of all the bands that are coming to the Bethel Woods, it's called. They built a big amphitheater right on the site of the original Woodstock, and it's beautiful. There's a Woodstock museum there, and it's just such a cool place. But it sucks because every year there's like hardly anything that we like to go to there. But like Alice Cooper played there, and Judas Priest and Deep Purple was probably like the heaviest show there. Megadeth actually played there like 2 years ago, but they just don't have metal. It's all like the old hippie bands. Like Willie Nelson's going to be there again this year, and that guy's like 100 fucking years old. So like we're kind of waiting for these guys to kind of like either retire or fucking pass away before we start getting some of the metal band. By the time they start playing metal bands, they're going to be in their late 60s or early 70s. I mean, they haven't gone. They won't go backwards until all the rest of the old hippies are fucking gone.
Ralphus is like, fucking Willie Nelson. He needs not to retire. He needs to expire already.
I don't want them to expire, but it's like, come on, fucking retire at least, Jeez, give the young whippersnappers a fucking chance at it. It's such an awesome place. I love going in. It's like a local
whippersnappers. Yeah.
It's like a local place for me to go there. There's free parking, no tolls to get there. We love it there. It could be every year we could have these awesome bands there. But we had Deep Purple and Yes there a couple years ago. Now that was the last time I was up for it. But we had like ZZ Top and Leonard Skinner plays there every year, but they just won't go like anything too much heavier. Megadeth was their first one, and I didn't even go to that one because I didn't need to see them again.
Yeah, I saw Deep Purple, yes, and they're coming now again with Kansas.
Kansas,
Yeah.
they're actually
coming.
playing here.
Who else is on that bill too? Somebody else.
Well, Jefferson
Starship.
Starship, but
Yeah,
they're playing
yeah,
different dates though.
Yeah, they're not playing.
Here's something,
Oh,
Jefferson.
Is it Jefferson Starship or Starship?
No,
No,
Jefferson Starship.
So it's the one that I think it's like the one guy that was in that
Well, Mickey
carries the
Thomas.
name. No, the other Mickey Thomas is Starship. Jefferson Starship is like the bass player guy. He played keyboards and bass. I can't think of his name. Curly hair. David somebody.
David.
I thought Mickey
Buckhead,
Thomas sang for them too.
Dude, this is not the Jefferson Starship. Where's fucking Grace Slick?
Oh, she retired a long
Retired.
time ago, man.
Okay, where's Paulette? Oh, he's dead. See, it's over.
It's tough.
Oh, dude. Mickey
That
Mulaney.
tour's not hitting Bethel this year, and I seen Deep Purple up there another time where they had the big orchestra up at Bethel Woods. That was awesome. So I actually seen Deep Purple 3 times at the old Woodstock, but for some reason that Kansas show isn't coming, and I had tickets to see Kansas there. They were opening up for I think it was either Leonard Skinner or ZZ Top, and it was right as the pandemic was like gonna somehow the pandemic fucking screwed it up.
Yeah.
Or somebody got COVID. I think everything was open again, but first a guy in Kansas got COVID, then a guy in Leonard Skinner got COVID or something. So the whole tour got fucked up.
I just saw Kansas a couple months ago. No, original, that's it. No original members left. Everybody's gone now.
Yeah, even the drummer,
I don't
even
like that.
Well,
Even,
Phil Ehart and Rich Williams were the last 2 left, and they're both gone now.
Rich Williams isn't touring with them anymore either.
Nope.
Wow.
I didn't find that out till I saw him, and I was like, "Where's fucking Rich Williams?" And I didn't know Phil Ehart was gone either. I was like, "Where the fuck are they?" Those are the last 2 guys left. They
Is
were
there-
phenomenal. They're a great cover band.
Is
The
there
last
anybody
one-
that even is from Kansas City that is in the band?
Yeah, the roadies.
They're all from Chicago.
the last time I saw Kansas, Phil Ehart played half the show, and then the other drummer did the other half, and that a guitar player, what's his name again? The older guy.
Gary Librin.
Rich
No,
Williams.
no. Rich
Kerry
Williams.
Rich
was gone
Williams.
for a while.
Yeah, Rich Williams. He played, and then they had Steve Morse come out and play like some of the Steve Morse era songs that he played with.
Was this in Florida, Al?
Yeah, it was like when I first moved down here, maybe a couple months after I saw them first.
Steve Morris
And
lives around somewhere around this,
yeah, it was cool, man, to see him come out on stage and play with them. They play Florida a lot, man.
Yeah, they do. So did Steve Morris come out and go, "Who the hell are these guys? Because they're not in the band I was in." Did he do that? Like, who the
Yeah,
fuck
it's
are
getting
these guys?
crazy, man. It's getting crazy. All these groups touring.
I'm like the biggest Kansas fan. it's really the first rock album I ever bought was Left Overture in 1976. And I've been a fanatic of, especially about that album. That album definitely my top 10. And you know, I never saw Kansas till fucking what's his face? Steve Walsh was out. And he's one of my favorite
Wow.
singers. I can't believe I never went to go see Kansas, man. And I had my chances. I even remember one time they were playing the horse track for cheap. And I had to work that day. I was like, fuck, that was my last chance to see, and Kerry Livgren was around back then. By the time I saw him, it was only Ehart and Robertson. But they released two amazing albums with that lineup.
I think that's what makes it different. If the band that's playing at least has some material
Yeah.
like under them, like I remember when Possessed reunited, and it was just Jeff Pizzera, singer, but he wasn't even playing bass no more. It was a whole new band. Nobody from the band played on any of the albums, and they toured like that for years. And I was just like, whatever. I seen the original Possessed, but then when that album finally came out, I was like, oh, this is fucking killer. And now it was like more legit to see this lineup, you know.
Right.
But from what you guys are talking about, like Skinner's out there fucking touring with no original members. Now Kansas is out there. So maybe I'll never get that chance. So fucking 20 years from now, it'll still be Kansas. It'll just be a whole new lineup from now. It'll be all their grandchildren's Kansas, and
Well,
it'll be the grandchildren's Skinner.
The brand.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just keep going on and
Yeah,
on.
it's gonna just keep going, man. It's gonna
Yeah,
keep
but
going.
They'll never get
amazing
metal.
that's what's amazing about modern rock fans. When we were growing up, maybe we were snobs, maybe we were wrong, but there wasn't, I mean, it wasn't accepted if there wasn't at least an original member or if a major member left, people would get pissed, they wouldn't go.
The thing
Motley
is,
Crue, John Corabi. So,
the thing is, Manny, it's the times we're living in. We don't have music fanatics anymore, except for us. Kids today do not invest in music. You know, when we
No,
were kids, we bought an album and we had to get into that whole album. We had to listen to that whole album.
you spent money on it.
Today, it's like downloading just a song, short attention span. So when it comes to music, oh yeah, I know Sweet Child of Mine. I'll go see Guns N' Roses. I know this song. I know Dust in the Wind. They don't care if there's nobody there.
Yeah, they don't even know.
But when
Yeah.
we were kids, yeah, Vince Neil's Motley Crue flop. The only band that succeeded was AC/DC and Vangina because the 80s were gay as fuck.
But with AC/DC, it was different because when a singer dies, then it's like, you want them to keep going the band, and that's the way to do it. But like when Dio replaced Ozzy, people fucking hated it. Like,
Yeah.
later on it's way more accepted. But same thing when Dio leaves, then Ian Gillan comes in. People are like, what the fuck? They're already falling in love with that version. So it's a little different. But when someone dies, then it's like, well, yeah, they got to replace them,
yeah, but those are all great points, Ralph. But the other thing, okay, Black Sabbath's a perfect example. If
But
Black
today,
Sabbath toured with
today,
Tony Martin right now, would anybody care, or they would go still see it, wouldn't they?
but
They
today,
were just not on the same level. They would
Today-
definitely go see it though.
today, you don't have to die. They'll go see you if you get kicked out of the band. It don't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really doesn't
Like
matter.
Jeff Tate's out there is like Jeff Tate's
Oh, yeah.
or whatever.
That's
It's
it.
like
You get kicked out, you just start your own version of the band.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you have the name, you're gonna succeed. You are gonna succeed. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I just think.
But hey, attention all planets to the Solar Federation. Let's get back on 2112. I want to show off a couple things. I bought the 2112 box set, and I'm not sure because I don't open this because I take the vinyl out and I put it aside. But Al, since you own it, let me know as I open this. Is this a Blu-ray?
No, it's a CD and DVD.
All right, a DVD.
Yeah.
Is it DVD audio or is it visual stuff on it?
It's the DVD or it's audio. It's the album and surround.
Well, fuck,
Okay,
I gotta put that on my TV. See, the other day somebody informed me that Farewell to Kings brought a Blu-ray.
That was me.
And, okay, and I put it on my TV. It was fucking awesome. So now I'm gonna put that. But I also bought this shit right here. I don't know when this came out, what, like 20 years ago or something?
That's the Blu-ray surround sound of the album. That's
Oh, is it?
Blu-ray. That's Blu-ray.
See, now I'm gonna go put this on. See, I don't know none of this shit. It
Well,
brings
you just buy stuff and don't know what you bought. You just
Yeah,
think
it's
that was
this.
awesome.
It's a comic. It comes with a comic book visual of the whole album, which is really
well,
cool.
well, the thing is, Manny, I played it on my CD player because at the time I didn't have no Blu-ray bullshit. Now I got a 4K shit. So after I'm done here, I'm putting this shit on, man, and
Yeah,
kick back.
put this one on here. That's the Blu-ray surround version of the album. And then during the while the album plays, it'll play the comic book. Like it'll show the comic book that's in here.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
really
Visual.
cool. Who did
Yeah.
the
It'll
comic
show.
book? Yeah, Al.
Huh?
Who did
Who
the
did the
comic
comic
book?
book? I think Hugh Syme did it. The
you
guy
know
I
what?
always.
You know what? I remember now. I did watch it, but I saw it on my little TV on my Blu-ray player. Now I'm gonna watch it on my 77-inch big ass.
So are the members coming out and fighting the forces of evil in their Luke Skywalker robes?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
got to play this on your Blu-ray player, the 8-track.
There you go.
Oh
That's a
wow,
That's awesome.
that's a
Wow.
sealed 8-track right here, man.
that's wild.
I had a guy offer me $300 for this,
Damn.
Wow.
and I'm still
Wow.
considering it.
I would have been out 1 8-track if they offered that to me.
And I bought this at a record convention in the 90s because I was going to record shows in the 90s and buying vinyl and stuff. And I bought this and All the World's a Stage 8-track. The guy gave them both to me for $1, so it was 50 cents each.
Wow. Nice.
Wow.
So, because
Yep.
nobody was buying that shit in the 90s. Stuff was dead. Vinyl and 8-tracks, nobody was buying that stuff, man.
Dude, I kick
No.
myself. I used to see a vinyl that goes for a lot of money now at these bins for like a quarter, $1. You know,
Oh
like,
yeah. Yeah.
yeah. And I kicked
Yeah.
myself. I didn't buy any of it.
This is the mobile fidelity version of the 2112, the gold disc version
Mhm.
that came out in like 92 or 93. This is the
Not-
best. This is the best digital version of the album. The sound is so good on this. It's incredible. You know, this is cool. It's the DVD, the making of 2112 and moving pictures.
I got
Yeah.
that up here. I got
I
that
have
up here
that.
too.
Yeah, I have that too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's cool. This is the Sectors box set, Sectors 1, which is the first album through All the World's a Stage. They call that Sector 1. They put all the albums in here. And in here it's CD, but there's a DVD audio version of Fly By Night on here. So there's a surround sound version of Fly By Night on
Wow.
here. So that's cool.
Wow, I'd like to get that, man. I want to hear Bytor on my TV.
Dude, it sounds fucking cool on surround, let me
I
tell
can
you, man.
imagine, man.
So, I don't know. You want me to talk about 2112 or who? I don't know.
Yeah,
Do you
go ahead.
have this,
Yeah,
Al?
do it.
Do you have the call the act all the world's a stage?
Yes, I have that on DVD. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's got
Yeah,
8
pretty
millimeter That's got 8 millimeter film of the Caress of Steel and 2112 tours, and it's
Yeah,
got
the
that. And it's got
2112's
that.
from Passaic,
Well,
New Jersey.
it's got that pro shot from Passaic on there as well.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
think it's got like 8 millimeter version of like the tour in there mixed in to kind of fill out the DVD and stuff. So
Yeah, everything at that Passaic place was filmed, so that's like tons
there's
of those shows out.
somebody is sitting on a fucking archive of great shit from that venue, man. And you know,
The-
Ozzy and Randy Rhoads played at that venue.
Yes. Yes.
So
Yeah, there was,
there's got to be because that was one of the very few venues that had an in-house video
Mhm.
thing, and people would, I guess whoever owned it or whoever tapped into it and would tape every show pretty much, So
yeah,
there's
that's the same thing with Capitol Center. Remember that? There's
Yeah,
tons of
Maryland.
that. Yeah.
Yep.
there's a
And-
cheap trick. There's a great cheap trick 1980 show from Passaic. It's a pro shot, which is great. Yeah,
Yeah.
fucking a lot of there's been
Rainbow,
some stuff
Grand
popping
Bonnet.
in and out, out of
Yeah.
there.
Well, the Fillmore East, the famous hippie venue, when Bill Graham died and sold the building, they found all this
Live
archive.
at Winterland, the
Yes.
Winterland shows.
Yes. And a reason a lot of that stuff hasn't come out is because whoever owned it started putting it online, and of course all the bands and everything. So there's all this Jimi Hendrix, Doors, Janis Joplin, Grateful Dead, some stuff I'm not interested in, but there's somebody
A lot of
sitting on a
70s too. A lot of
landmine.
70s shows. There's a
Yeah,
YMT.
they have
Uh,
they have sticks on the Equinox tour where John Koleski's already out of the band. They had Tommy Shaw on the
Wow.
Equinox tour. I didn't
Wow.
know that, and that was at the Winterland. And yeah, there's a channel that has that. It has that. It also has
Yeah.
a Grand Illusion show as well from.
Of course,
Yeah,
the Kiss one was the most famous because that's the one we had
Yeah.
years ago.
To me, that's the best Kiss video ever.
It's black and white, right, guys? Just all
Yeah.
The
everything was
Winterland,
black-
yeah, the Winterland
It's
75, yeah.
fucking I hate somebody colorized it. It's fucking
No, the
awful.
black and white ones.
I
Yeah,
know who did that.
Well,
it,
there's
it, it fucks it up, man. It's like that.
To me-
that black,
To me,
that
the black and white. To me, the black and white adds to the mystique and the. To me, that was black and white Kiss, like the.
Yeah, it was hotter than hell, man.
Yeah.
The second album. I mean, that was Kiss at their darkest. Was
Before they
hot-
were comic book Kiss, you know.
fucking
Yeah.
Trust to Kill.
Well-
They were becoming a little more sparkly. But
Well, the Fillmore, they have that one Jimi Hendrix live performance became Band of Gypsies. It's one camera though. It's just one camera. I don't know if that changed with the other shows, but the Jimi Hendrix up to some year it was just it was one camera. Literally, no movement. That was it, just pointing at the stage. It's on YouTube, obviously. That's how I've seen it.
I've seen him do Red House.
Yeah.
The version of him doing Red House at that show.
Oh, it's phenomenal. Anyway, continue about 2112.
Hey, quick correction. So the CD that comes in the box set, the DVD that's on here is the Passaic Show. So the Passaic Show is on the DVD here. This Blu-ray is the surround sound version of the album. So this is the
Okay.
Blu-ray surround. So you want to listen to surround, you get this one, and then this has got the Capitol Theater, the Passaic show on here. It also has an alternate version of 2112 from All the World to Stage from a different night that wasn't used on the album. So that's on here as well, and a couple other little tidbit things. But yeah, the DVD on here is the Passaic show. So it's not a surround sound version of the album. That's the Blu-ray. So anyway, so Tony Dio contacted me the other day on April 1st. He's like, so is today the actual 50th anniversary? Is it the date of the actual album release? And it's not actually. It's been already kind of proven that it's not, because my friends that did this book, Skip Daly and Eric Hansen, Wandering the Face of the Earth, this is the complete tour history of Rush. But it's got cool facts in there too about the albums and releases of certain singles or whatever, you know. It's still cloudy on the actual release date, but I think they pinned it down as March 8th was the actual release date of the album. I did a little more research on that because back in the day, you guys all know that Tuesdays was usually the release days of albums. It was always on a Tuesday. But I read up that in England and Canada, Mondays were the release days of albums. So I kind of like looked at where March 8th landed in 1976, and I believe it landed on a Monday. So I think March 8th was the Canadian release of the album. Now, that still clouds up. When did it come out in the US? You know, did it come out the next day, or was it like weeks later? Nobody really knows. It's weird because it's such a breakthrough album of Rush. You would think like Mercury Records would have like a record of like album release dates, but for some reason this album is like there's like confusion. Nobody can pin down the actual date. There's a little blurb in here too in this book on March 13th which I think is like a little review of the album or something. And it says, well, the album's been out 5 days now. So 5 days before March 13th is March 8th. So that's kind of another clue of how that could be like the release date. But anyway, everybody like usually just April 1st, everybody usually celebrates the album. It's just been ingrained in everybody's like head. It's April 1st. You know what I mean? So it doesn't really matter. It's 50 years it's been out, and it's a
Yeah.
fucking awesome album, and it blew my 12-year-old mind. I mean, I would literally, you know, put this on the turntable, open up the gatefold, and as the as 2112 was playing, I'd read the lyrics and in addition to the lyrics inside the gatefold, there was like little like extra like what the guy was doing and like a little extra information that's not in the lyrics. So and it's such intrigued me so much because as a kid I like sci-fi as well. I was a big sci-fi. I love Star Trek. I love Twilight Zone. I loved all that shit. And it was just for some reason this 2112, and it wasn't the first album I got by Rush. I mean, I got Exit Stage Left first, then I got Moving Pictures. Well, I think 2112 might have been the third or fourth release that I got from them. And once I heard that was like it was all over for me, man. I was hooked for life. So that's I was 12 years old, man. I couldn't even believe it. My brother wasn't really didn't have any Rush albums, so I kind of discovered them on my own. And I told the story that there was a radio station in New York that played album sides, and they played side one of Permanent Waves. I recorded off the radio, and the rest is history. It's kind of how I got into them. And then Exit Stage Left was my first live album. The first album I bought by them, went out and got. So, but 2112, man. I mean, this is this is just. I mean, I always thought like this would have made like a great movie or something. Somebody would kind of, and I'm sure there's movies that kind of have that. There's plenty of movies that have that dystopian future, fucking theme to it. But I guess making it kind of about music would kind of turn it into a musical, which would probably kind of be kind of corny anyway. But I don't know.
Neil was really hoping that someone was going to pick up Clockwork Angels and make that into
Yeah,
some kind of movie.
I think that would make a good movie, man.
Yeah, I think so too. I think so too. Especially at the time steampunk thing was in, if you guys remember.
Yeah, the steampunk.
And he wrote
themes.
like a whole like kind of book on it, like too. I never got like that book that he did just
There's
for.
Clockwork Angels book. There's a whole novel that I have it, but I never really delved into it yet. But one day when I'm in the right mindset, I got to read it. But I think there's actually an audio book of Neil reading the book. So I actually should just get that and have him read it to me. You know what I mean? So anyway, that's my story on 2112, man. You guys go ahead.
I think it's their best album. I still think it.
Yeah, it's my favorite.
A lot of people do, man.
It was the
Here's
first
a
one.
cassette of it.
Cool. It was the first one I bought. Then All the World's a Stage. Those were my first two Rush albums. And I just became fanatical about it. I thought, the whole story behind it, I'm sorry, man, I question it. Oh, they were going to be dropped, and then they thought, oh, fuck them. We're going to do what we want. I don't know. Why would the record company release what we're going to do what we want? And the single for this album was Twilight Zone. And don't get me wrong, it's one of my favorite songs on the fucking album. But that's not a single, man. They should have made Temple of Syrinx or even Passage of Bangkok would have been or Something for Nothing would have been a better single.
Something for Nothing would have been a good single.
Yeah, any of them. But Twilight Zone's a little too out there. But it might be my second favorite off the album, after the long as 2112. But I love it. And all my life, I've always had because it's the guy finds a guitar, takes it to the priest of Syrinx. They're like, don't bother us further. Get the fuck out of here. And then he goes back to the cave. He dies. And then the solar takes over. And I was always under the impression the album, the side one, ended bleak. Like, oh, man, the priest won and humanity fails. And then Al had to tell me, no, it's the other way around. Why do you have to ruin it for me, Al?
Well, if you
Yeah,
wa-
Al.
if you watch the documentary, Neil says it in there, so it's not
Yeah,
like
yeah, well, I don't like you guys fucking ruin shit with facts.
I'm sorry, man.
Not cool, man. Not cool. But
The bad guys won.
I want to believe that the bad guys won and they done away with that pesky, horrible rock and roll. You know, I could dream, but what an album! And then you got Passage to Bangkok, a fucking masterpiece about smoking weed. I will say, I think Tears is better by Alice in Chains.
I love that cover that they did.
I think Alice in Chains did a better cover
They knocked that out of the
the
park, man.
original than the original Tears. And I'm nothing against the original Tears. It's my least favorite on the album, but I still don't dislike it. But Alice in Chains brought that extra oomph to it. That's fucking
Absolutely.
that's on this right here, the box set vinyl.
Yeah.
And the live show on here, where is it? Is this from Hammersmith? I forgot where this is from. It's
No,
fuck-
not in 2112. It's that Passaic show.
well, it's fucking amazing. It's pretty much all the world's a stage, really. But it's freaking amazing. And you know, there's some cool covers, you know, but none match, you know, the greatness of the originals, except for Alice in Chains. I was very blown away by it. But yeah, to this day, 2112 is and will always be my favorite Rush song. Hey, and also what we should talk about is Rush just played. And
Yep.
you know what's really shocking about it? The first time I watched it, I was more impressed with Getty's voice.
Me
It was
too.
good. His voice sounds way better than it did on the final tour and so on.
Had some rest.
The
Yeah.
backlash online about his voice was unbelievable.
There was
People,
backlash.
yeah, there's backlash online on
That's a
Getty.
hard song to sing too because it's so high pitched, you know.
And he sang it. I mean, of course he didn't sing it like in '74, but he still sang it pretty high.
That was
Not only
cool
that,
though,
he
man.
sang
They
it too. It
they
was-
open with "Finding My Way" as kind of like a rebirth because they're playing the
Yeah.
first song, the first album.
And and I also saw people complain, that's not a Neil Peart song. Have a little respect for John Rutsey, you fucking dick like jelly cake.
I heard that was Neil Peart's first song that he played with Rush, though. So
Exactly.
that's kind of weird because the girl strummer, that was her first song to play with them.
Well, that was probably done as a homage to their history and him. So that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Neil's
And,
first.
she was good. She was a good drummer for a dirty whore.
That girl played with Jeff Beck, so she's no slouch. I don't
Yeah,
know.
anybody that plays with Jeff Beck is a dirty whore.
I know when I first seen that footage though come up, it was like someone's cell phone. And I don't know how many people seen that and then started complaining about it not sounding great or something. But then you see like the professional shot of it and it sounded so much better and it looked better. It wasn't someone's fucking cell phone up in the back. So some people might have jumped to conclusions just from hearing it that way.
And how special was that seeing that performance? It's the first time that there was a girl at a Rush show.
And she was the best drummer in the whole crowd for girls at Rush shows.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there was no other girls there. I mean, well,
Who was the fourth musician there on the stage?
Keyboard.
The keyboardist.
It was Bobby Dahl from Poison.
I thought it was Jeff Nichols.
His ghost. His
It
ghost.
was Donnie Bonaducci.
Did
I can't remember his
Rush
name
never
now.
toured with anyone but as a three-piece, if I'm remembering correctly, right?
Yeah, I don't think they ever
Yeah.
had any outside musicians.
No, they announced that was like a big thing that was going to be different. Of course, having a new drummer, but also Getty not doing double duties, trying to play the keyboards with his feet and then play the bass. It's stupid for him not do that live. He should definitely have always had somebody, even if they stuck him in the back someplace.
Well, I admire the
Yeah.
fact they didn't stick him in the back.
Yeah, well, he announced it, so might as well.
Yeah, no, I remember he announced it, but I was really I didn't really hear him. I I heard the three main people. I didn't really, obviously he was
You
there.
can faintly when you watch the professional video, you can faintly hear a little keyboard pad behind, but it's very low in the mix.
He's
It's not.
there to add
Yeah, well, there's no
color.
keyboard in that
I was
song.
gonna
There's no
say the
keyboard in that
songs.
song.
Yeah, the song's not a big keyboard song.
No, it's not. None at all. So
But so he's kind of there for the songs that need keyboard and just add a little color to the older songs, I guess.
yeah.
I love that first Rush album so much.
Oh, it's
Me
great,
too.
man.
It's one of my
that me
favorite.
too.
It's one of my favorite Rush albums.
That
That
kicks
was the
ass,
first-
man.
That was the
I
first
gotta
Rush
say,
album
man.
I bought because it was $5. That and Crest of Steel were both $5, so that's why I bought them.
I gotta say, Alex sounded great, man. Like his tone was exactly like that was on the first album, man. To me, I thought it sounded fucking spot on.
I agree with you, and I was amazed because I bought his album from his band called Envy of None, which I like, but it's very pop.
Yeah, it's not guitar
pop
driven.
meets alternative. Yeah, it's really cool though if you like alternative rock. If you don't, it's not going to change your mind. But I really enjoyed it. But it was such a different side to what I'm used to. So
I thought his Victor CD was fucking awful. I bought that. Though I did like Geddy Lee's solo album. That was good. My favorite Headache. That was a good album.
Yeah,
that's a great album.
But that Victor album was like, what the hell?
Well, they reissued that under his own name when they reissued it a few years ago.
yeah.
Yeah.
And he,
If
and
I
he
was him,
remixed it too.
If I was him, I would have kept it Victor and not put my name on it.
Victor Wooten plays on it. Nah, it's just kidding.
Yeah, Victor wouldn't.
Yeah, Victor wouldn't play on it. That's what
Yeah.
yeah, so anybody else want to talk about 2112 before we get into presents?
Yeah. I got this album that's limited edition on violet vinyl, the legendary broadcast Rush
Oh, yeah.
2112 in concert.
Yeah.
But it says broadcast live from Kyle Auditorium on 12th of February 1980. And
Yeah,
when you look at the songs, they leave a lot of them off. They don't play like in its entirety.
they just have
they-
they just
they
do the
play a lot.
2112 live on there, right?
Yeah, that's on it. But even that's missing parts. It doesn't
Yeah.
have all.
It was already truncated. It was already truncated on that tour. They shortened it.
Did
But-
they ever play the whole piece live?
Yeah.
I've seen them play it live. They played it.
On the Test for Echo tour was the first time they
Tour.
actually
They played
first time they actually played the whole thing with the Discovery and all, because on the 2112 tour and even the tours after that, even when they were headliners and they would play it, they still cut out like Discovery and I think Soliloquy or something like that. But then on the Test for Echo tour was the complete first time the whole thing was played,
It
So
was fucking amazing. It was right before the first break. They did that and then they took a break and came back. But yeah,
That was
I knew going into the show they were going to do that. And I was so excited.
oh, me too.
I knew that with the Time Machine tour when they were doing Moving Pictures in its entirety, but I didn't get to see that. But I did see a tribute band like 2 years ago. I seen a tribute Rush band, and that's what they did. They did 2112 in its entirety, and then they came back and they played all the like bigger hit songs that fill out the night. But I also got this really cool book. I haven't read it yet. I just got it not too long ago. I got it on my birthday in February 10th. Pete Pardo from Sea Tranquility, he was going to meet up with me. He said he had some Blu-ray horror movie Blu-rays that he was upgrading to 4K, and he said he had a couple books for me, an MC5 book and some werewolf book. So I met him in a parking lot out by his house, and I was shocked because he had this big box for me. And I started going through it, and he gave me like the Wish You Were Here box set. It's like $250
Wow.
vinyl box set,
Wow.
the CDs and stuff.
He's not a
I was
vinyl
blown
guy,
away.
I think.
Yeah, it's like he gets it, and he gets stuff for free sometimes, and then he has nowhere to put it in his house, I guess. But I was shocked to see that in there. But he also had a whole bunch of books that he didn't tell me about, and he had some other vinyl in there. It was like a big box of shit, and this was in there. It's Rush and 2112, 50 years, so it must be brand new, pretty much. and it came in like this cool slip cover over here. But
Oh, nice, man.
really nice book. I'm gonna read it. It's like the whole everything about it. I tried to read through the first page really quick just to see if it said like March 4th, the album was released, and I even checked on the Wikipedia page, and it just says March 1976. Doesn't even have a date on there, so it doesn't
Yeah.
say April. But yeah, just the songs are just great. Everybody loves 2112. I love that they do a song called The Twilight Zone because that's my all-time favorite TV show.
Yeah.
That and Outer Limits are like my two favorite shows, and I love Star Trek and all that stuff too growing up. But yeah, you guys all talked about the other songs and stuff. It's a great album. It's not my favorite, like a lot of you guys. I like Moving Pictures. That was my first one I loved. It took me a while before I went backwards because by the time I'm getting into Moving Pictures in like 83, 84, and by the time I really start liking them, I start seeing their new look and everything, and I'm just like, fuck this band. I was like a little metalhead kid. So if I would have been going backwards at that time, I would have loved all the old Rush more. But I kind of just wrote them off. I was like, they look like idiots to me, and I couldn't get into those albums till years and years later. But the '80s Rush. It wasn't until like the late '90s where I started getting into like Vapor Trails and Snakes and Arrows and stuff like that. That kind of made me go backwards more and rediscover it all. So I'm a very late comer to being like a big Rush fan, but yeah, it was definitely probably my top three Rush albums though. But I love Caress of Steel. I love the first
Yeah.
one. You know, those early ones are fucking. That's the
70s
first.
Rush, man, is my
Yeah,
favorite.
yeah, me
Everything
too.
from the 70s are my favorite Rush albums. I love a
Yeah,
Yeah,
lot.
I went back from there because I was hearing New World Man on the radio a lot, so that's why a friend of mine had Signals, so I made a copy of that, and so that was pretty much the first thing I ever got. And then, a couple years later, I ended up picking up was it called Rush Archives? It was like two
Yeah,
cassettes since the
I
first
have it.
three albums.
Yeah,
I
Chronicles.
think I ended up getting
Cross.
that and
Oh,
It
get
was
archives. Yeah,
and
archives.
Yeah,
getting
yeah.
the
Remember,
20.
it's got a great
Yeah,
cover, Al.
The gray cover. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know what
this was
was
on mine was on two cassettes.
Yeah.
you
Two
know what
cassettes.
was
And
Yeah.
you know
and
what's
kind of just
interesting?
went back and got 2112, and I
I
liked all the early stuff, but I mean, at the time that Signals came out, I was into like new wave and stuff too, so I kind of was digging what I heard from that, and I saw the pictures of them in the magazines and stuff, and they had kind of Alex Lifeson kind of looked like he could have been in Flock of Seagulls or something, at that time. So,
yeah, they
but
just look so lame that I couldn't even like
yeah,
listen to the
yeah.
music. And
you know
that's
what
I'm
you know
guilty of
But
that with like a
but
ton of bands. I know you're not
you
supposed
know
to
you
judge
know
bands
what
like that, but
you know what's interesting about archives, I have it on CD, was back in the day, if you bought a double live CD in the early days, they'd always have to admit a song or two to make it fit. And All the World the Stage didn't have What You're Doing on the original CD.
the
And,
original one.
and Exit Stage Left didn't have Passage to Bangkok. Archives brought What You Doing and Passage to Bangkok live from those albums. So if you bought Archives, then you'd get the complete All the World of the Stage.
Yeah, the later CD version of it or whatever it was.
Yeah,
they
exactly.
didn't do
talking
those
about
like double
Was
CDs.
it
They didn't do like
was the
big
gray one
double
called
CDs.
No.
Archives
No.
or
No. No. No.
Chronicles?
The,
I think you're talking about
Chronicles
Chronicles.
is what Ralph is talking about.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Archives is the first album, Fly By Night and Caress of Steel, and packaged
Yeah.
into one package.
Mhm.
Like Kiss did with the originals.
It's
Same
I was
exact
going to
thing.
say
Yeah.
it's the same
Sure.
thing as Kiss the originals. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
I compare it to what Journey did with in the beginning. Do you remember they?
Yeah, I remember that one
They
too.
did.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did the beginning, which was the first three albums in a package,
Yeah,
double album.
yeah.
Yep. Sure thing. Yep.
Yeah. Now when I see that archives at record conventions, they want a lot of money for it. Where I used to see it for like $5 everywhere.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
That's
Yep,
the
that was
Journey
the
one,
Journey.
right?
That's
This
the
is-
Journey one.
This is in the
Yeah,
beginning.
that's the Journey one. I have that one.
That's a
now.
great
Yeah.
man. Those first three Journey albums are fucking
That's
awesome
all
too.
the pre Steve Perry's. That's the like
Yeah.
a jazz fusion hard rock.
I love
acid
Yeah,
rock
that's the same-
stuff.
I
like the
love that
same
early
band,
Journey
though.
stuff, man.
Me
I do
too.
too.
Me too.
But I didn't know that stuff existed when I was into Journey.
Yeah, nobody really
Mhm.
did back then, you know.
Yeah, and then I bought one of the albums like for $5 where Next, do you remember that album?
Yeah.
And Yeah, it looks like Neil Schoen put his looks like he has an afro. Like,
Yeah, Neil Sean looks like he should be in like like a funk band or even Grand Funk or
Yeah.
something.
I
well, I didn't
remember
even know he was on Santana as a kid, dude. I didn't even know he was in Santana as a kid.
I
Then I
remember
bought
when
Santana 3 and he's on it.
when I was a little kid, I was hitting on this older chick, right? I wanted to get with this older chick. And she started talking about Journey, and she goes, "You know, Steve Perry, he went through life and he went through this journey in life, and that's how he came up with the name of the band Journey." Now I was already aware of Greg Raleigh, and he wasn't in
Yeah.
Journey, but I wasn't gonna tell her that because
Hell no.
I wanted to hit on it. I was like, "Really? That's interesting." And you know what? I ended up not hitting it, so I should have told her. You
Oh.
dumb bitch. He wasn't there for the first 3 albums. Anyway,
No, you
As,
could
you,
have
as, you, yeah, as you're leaving,
Or
as you're
you-
leaving her house, you turn around,
Yeah.
look back, and you're like, "Yeah, by the way, Steve Perry wasn't on the first 3 Journey albums."
yeah.
Oh, no way, dude. You got to go back for more. You can't do that.
Nah, you hit it and quit it.
No, you
No,
go back
she,
a few
she
times.
actually, I remember how it all ended. She actually patted me on the head because I was much younger than her. And she's like, "Can you imagine I mess around with you? That's just would be so wrong." While patting my head, and I'm like, "You mean wrong?" So yeah, that's her way of saying, "I ain't banging you, you shrimp." You know?
Yeah, but years later, you probably got her. Because that
No,
happened
no,
to a few
no.
girls.
Years later, she was too old.
No, well, yeah, I had a couple of when I was young. Oh, you're too young. And then years later, I'm banging them about before their husband gets home. But that's when I was young. Now I'm
Oh
old.
well, there were a couple girls I got later on that I wanted when I was younger. Two I can think of that it worked out later where they rejected me as a kid, but those chicks were my age, you know. This
Oh,
one,
okay.
what? Let me put it this way: I was like 15, she was like 32.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah, I know. I wanted her bad. She wouldn't. She wouldn't. So by the time I was like, I was old. I don't know what happened to her, but I'm sure she's like 80 now.
Me and Sal probably start the Joe Bonamassa show.
You might have a chance now.
Maybe.
Maybe she's in a peanut gallery. You never know.
Yeah, she's
I
probably
was
right
I was
now
just
at the
checking.
prime.
She's like, "Please put your feet up to the camera, Ralph."
Yeah, right. She got a pushback.
Look at the size of those feet. My God, she missed out.
They're a lot. They're 10 and a half. My feet. They're not.
Who's
They're
got
not.
the 10 and a half?
They're not.
It's because it's
exaggerated.
closer to the camera, so it makes it look
Yeah.
huge.
You know what they say with people with big feet? That's a myth. Because I ain't packing shit. This shit is huge. I got a little packer. It's fucking tiny, bro.
See, when he opened his fly up at the beginning of the show, it didn't unfurl. It didn't
No,
come out.
when I open my fly, you can't see it. It's like a belly button, like an 80 belly button. It's fucking embarrassing what I'm packing. But look at the feet. I can fool some people. Yeah, I'm well hung. See that?
Oh man, Manny, what about you? You didn't talk about it, did you?
No, I'm just gonna say I love the album. It wasn't the first album I got. They got the first two because they were $5, and the first Rush album I heard was Permanent Waves, and I loved it. But what stood out to me of Rush, it's gonna sound nerdy, but I like reading, I like literature even as a kid. It was Neil Neil Peart's lyrics, on Permanent Waves. So it kind of surprised me when I listened to 2112 and it had this science fiction story to it. And I love the music, but concept albums have never really been my thing because I never know what the fuck's going on midway through. I know Tommy's deaf, dumb, and blind. I know in 2112, this poor bastard finds a guitar, they smash it, and then Al ruins our life by telling us it was a happy ending. I figured, well,
Yeah.
humanity destroyed itself.
A big fuck you. A big fuck you to Al and Neil Peart.
Yeah, Al, ruining our lives with facts.
Fuck your facts.
But
All right, I'll go now.
no, but I was really surprised that the science fiction element to it. I was also surprised passage to Bangkok, because to me Rush already seemed like very, thinking men, and here's a song about going to Bangkok to get high. I thought, what the fuck is this? So
They
But
smoked
then-
with the best of them, man.
But then,
Yeah.
then again, man, if you listen to Caress of Steel, they sound very high on that album.
Oh, they're high on that album.
Oh
dude.
no, now in retrospect, yeah, you're right. They're all fucked up on God.
I think I read an article where they smoked a lot of hash during that album.
You can tell that
Well, you can tell, dude.
Sound of Laminates was recorded stoned, without a doubt.
I fucking love that song though, man.
You know that talking, they didn't fuck with the with the speed of it. They were so stoned they talk like that.
Yeah,
Fuck yeah.
but it's definitely one of my favorite Rush albums. I put it up there. I was just really surprised because I worked my way. So I didn't really work backwards. I would just buy albums as I see them if they were cheap. So that was one of them. I love that album. So anyway, that's all I got to say on it. The album's awesome. It's great. It's heavy metal meets prog, and if you don't like it, there's something wrong with you. So what's next, Ralph?
Led Zeppelin, Presence. Now, and by the way, this ain't even open. What's wrong with me? I still have my old copy. This is a newer copy.
You have the same exact one I have, the Walmart, like
Yeah, somebody bought me this for Christmas.
yeah.
I think it was 2 Christmases ago, and I have yet to open it. All right. First off, I love this album. I do love the album, but here's where I'm going to get a little controversial on your ass. This is my least favorite Led Zeppelin album. I'm not including Coda. And yes, I like Into the Outdoor more than this album. But this album does have a song that fucking annoys me to no end, and that's Candy Store Rock. I fucking hate that song. I hate that song. But everything else on here, I hate when Led Zeppelin does the blues. But here on T for One, that blues song is ruling. And I also love Since I've Been Loving You. But those early first 2 albums, You Shook Me and all that shit, no. And another thing controversial I would say about this, Achilles' Last Stand, I think should have been shaved down a little bit. It's a great
Ralph.
Maiden made a career out of it with the Gallop. It's a great song, but I think that come on, man. Enough. You did it enough. All right, do it once, but he kept doing it over and over. I like the rest of it, but I just think some of that song should have been shaved down. I love Royal Orleans and what's that other Hot Song for Nowhere? Those are like deep tracks on here that are fucking awesome. They smoke. I love For No One. Is that the name of it? No, that's the Beatles.
T for One.
No,
for
For your life. For your life.
For your life, which was never played live until they reunited with Jason Bonham at the O2. That was the first time they ever played it. I love that song. I love
Only 2 songs on the album were ever played live by Led Zeppelin, because they didn't get to promote this album because they recorded it while Robert Plant was still recuperating from his car accident. So they didn't even promote the album with a tour. By the time they went back out, I think they were doing the Enter the Outdoor.
Yeah, that's when they did Achilles' Last Stand. Nobody's Fault for Mine.
Yeah.
They didn't do
Okay.
anything else. But
Well-
and I love Martin Popoff just showed the other day. He's got like a bunch of pictures of people with that object
Yeah.
that didn't appear on the record. It's different ones, but I remember Bible thumpers holding up this album and saying, this is a message from the devil. And then they showed this picture of the teacher holding it and the kid's head, and the inside it had a little baby with it, and people in the audience were gasped. They were
That's
like,
that's the best part of the artwork too. I mean, it's hypnosis, and they've got all these photos with that object.
Yeah,
Isn't that the only album they did? No, Hypnosis did Enter the Outdoor
they
too,
did.
right?
They did Houses of the Holy too.
Oh, they did that one
Yep.
too?
Yep.
Okay.
That
Okay.
documentary that they
Okay.
have out there, they talk a bit about about this, and like people didn't know what the object was and stuff. And Led Zeppelin had promotional things put out. I don't know if like one store would get one of them, but you could find them out there. They go probably for good money. They're like
Well, they
the
do
same
now, yeah.
size. Yeah, the
I
same
have
size.
one. You know what? Ever since I moved back, it's in one of my boxes. I have the object.
Oh wow.
I do, and the object has engraved in it Led Zeppelin presence.
Yeah.
I did. I
Yeah,
do
my
have
friend
it.
had one.
And now
I'd
you
like a bong of that. I think a nice bong of that would be cool. It have the Led Zeppelin on the bottom, but
They
make
made
a bong out of it.
reproductions you could buy back in the day
yeah, yeah.
too. I remember
I
having
bought,
having
I
some
bought one.
catalog and it was in there. You could order it.
That's where my friend bought it, the Led Zeppelin bootleg fan club. So it probably was a reproduction. Yeah, both Ralphs are right. That would be quite a bit of money for an original, I'm sure.
Yeah, I don't think there was many of them.
Yeah.
Very limited. I don't think it was something you could buy either. It was like a promotional thing. It wasn't something that was for sale.
No, I think
The
it's like
originals.
one of you, Ralph, said. I think it was given to the stores,
Yeah.
one or per store or something. So
They did tour for that. They did tour in '77 though. Before they did tour for this album, but it
Robert
got cut.
Plant's son died when?
Yeah, it got cut short because Robert Plant's son died, and that was it for that.
You know what? My brother went to see this tour in Tampa, where at the time when they played Tampa, they broke all records. At that time, 1977, that was the biggest gathering for a concert ever.
For a single band, right?
Yeah,
For one band.
yeah,
Yes.
and it was my brother went to that. It was in Tampa. It was the President's Tour. Now I remember.
Yeah, there's a famous there's from '77. There's a famous Seattle pro shot from 1977 of Zeppelin playing, and I think usually it's kind of panned a little bit because Jimmy was pretty fucked up. Like his heroin habit was pretty out of control by this time.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
you look at pictures of him during this time, he's bone thin, man. He's already
Yeah,
getting
he was very frail.
Yeah,
very
he
frail.
looked frail.
By the
Yeah, but-
time by the time Into the Outdoor, he hardly had anything to do with that album. That's
Yeah.
more of a John Paul Jones album.
And
Mhm.
Presidents is a huge Jimmy Page album. He dominated
Big
the
time.
writing on the
He
album.
says
Yeah.
I think Page says that that's his favorite album actually.
Presence
wrote
is
the
the
most-
most. Presence to me is the most guitar oriented Led Zeppelin album. I don't think there's any keyboards at all on that album, is there?
Very,
they're
not
very
really, man.
rare if they're on there. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't remember, but
Yeah, John played most of the bass on there, unless Jimmy played the bass.
It's
Ralph-
harmonica on Nobody's Fault.
Ralph, the first time I was on your show, one of the first times you had Martin Popoff, where we compared Led Zeppelin Presence to In Through the Outdoor. I think you were on it too, dear. And I remember thinking I would like Presence more, but it turned out more songs to In Through the Outdoor I enjoyed. I'll tell you what I love about Presence, besides its awesomeness, is I hate to agree with Ralph. It is their worst album, which doesn't mean it's not good.
No, it's a great album.
Yeah. But what I'm really impressed by it is John Bonham's playing. He's got a shuffle. He plays all kinds of stuff. I'm not a drummer. I can play guitar a little bit, but I'm not a drummer. But that really, sometimes I think John Bonham's overrated. And then I really start listening and I realize how good he was. And then again, I didn't listen to jazz as a kid. I'm talking about when I was 12, 13. So I had no frame of reference for what him and Bill Ward were doing. Now that I'm older, I realize how amazing those two guys are. Really amazing drummers, both of them. But yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
tell you this right now. The reason I like Into the Outdoor more than Presence is very simple. Into the Outdoor was the very first Led Zeppelin album I bought when it was new. Like I believe I owned Zeppelin 4 and Physical Graffiti before that, and the live one. I did own those, but those were already out. I bought Into the Outdoor when it was brand new, and if I would have bought Presence when it was brand new, I bet you anything, I'd say Presence is
The
better.
timeline thing again, yeah.
I would say
Yeah.
Presence is better than Into the Outdoor. It's heavier, it's more meaty. But there's some about Into the Outdoor. It's that nostalgia thing, that Carousel Alhambra.
I love that song, dude.
That's the best song on the album. That song, I'm fixated by Carousel Alhambra. I get so happy when I'm driving and my iPod Shuffle plays Carousel Alhambra, because I know wherever the fuck I'm going, this song's gonna play all the way there. You know, because it's such a long song. Oh, fuck yeah, Carousel Alhambra.
The drums on that song, man.
Yeah, and
There
I
you
know,
go, the drums. See what I'm talking about?
you know,
Awesome.
and I gotta bring this up. There was one motherfucker out there that knew what I was talking about. This is so rare. Well, you know, because I'm super old school. Way before MTV, well, maybe like a year before MTV, there was a show on cable. You had to have cable. It was called Video Jukebox. And the theme was Carousel Alhambra. And it showed this 80s, like, you know, kind of like this screen, you know, like, I don't know, some weird images. It says Video Jukebox. And I brought it up on a video going, dude, every day. They'd show it every day. Every other day was the same goddamn show because they only had like 5 videos. So it was like Iggy Pop on board, Sticks with Boat on a River, and shit like that. And I brought it up on, and some motherfucker left a comment going, dude, I remember Video Jukebox. I remember that shit. I was like, you're fucking rare, dude, because I didn't think anybody would remember that. But yeah, that was the theme song to that show, was Carousel Alhambra. I love that.
Oh
fucking-
wow.
That's
Hey
great.
Ralph, in the peanut gallery, Aaron Cutler says the Tampa 77 show is the famous riot show where they
Oh.
played 3 songs and then bailed because of rain and lightning.
Yeah.
Most people lost their ticket stubs, so they didn't get refunded.
Yeah. But didn't they make it up though?
No, they never made it up.
All right. Well, okay. My brother did go to that show, and I do remember my brother saying that when it was raining, they played Rain Song. I remember him telling me that. And then it was over. But I thought they
Must have
rescheduled.
been the lightning.
No, well,
yeah.
they probably rescheduled it, but it never happened because of Robert Plant's son. That tour was filled with a bunch of issues.
I
Jimmy Page.
also want to say my brother saw the second to last Led Zeppelin show ever.
Wow.
He was stationed in Germany, and he saw Led Zeppelin with Judas Priest.
Oh, that 1980 tour that they did in Europe, yeah, before
Yeah,
they
it was
that was
it
it.
was a show in Munich. My brother went to see that, and I believe they only played one more show after that before Bonham died, or maybe that was Bonham's last show.
That probably
Nibblers.
was fun.
Hey, you know who know that? The Peanut Gallery. Let us know in the comments below.
The
What
final
was- What was
the final
Led
show
Zeppelin's
in
final
America. The final show in America for Zeppelin was that
Was in
day on the
77.
green. The day on the green, and Judas Priest opened for that show too.
Yeah, but they scheduled. I remember tickets were for sale. In
Oh yeah,
Chicago and for the Enter the Outdoor tour.
Yeah, my
was-
brother was gonna buy. I remember specifically my older brother who was already he was just like you, Ralph. Like when Into the Outdoor was brand new, he got it. He was already a Zeppelin fan, but that was his first like new Zeppelin album, like when it came out. So I remember I mean, at the time I was like 7 years old, and I remember him coming home with the vinyl, and he was very meticulous with his vinyl. He'd take a razor blade and like slit the plastic on, always left the plastic on the album to preserve the album, and he was very like careful with his vinyl. And I remember him putting it on a turntable, looking at the liner notes, all that stuff, and that was like his ritual. And I was always like intrigued by, and I would always listen to the music with him. You know, he'd let me in his room and I'd listen to so that was like kind of the first kind of thing that I knew. Well, I knew Zeppelin a little bit before that, but it only when he played it. But like I remember him like specifically sitting down with that album and listening to it. And then when they announced the tour, he was gonna go buy tickets for it. I think he was gonna buy tickets for the Philly show or something, you know, and then it just, you know, then Bonham died and that was it.
me
No.
and Tony's friend Denny that we do Rock Fantasy Files with, he has a full ticket stub in a like
It's worth money too, man.
thing. Yeah, he said unripped, and he had it. The tickets were on sale for the Canada and North America, and yeah, all the people that had the ticket, some of them probably said, "Ah, fuck," and they just threw it away. But yeah, that's
Oh,
worth
dude,
some money,
man.
I remember Chicago was a date that was already on sale. before he died. I do remember that. And
I
yeah,
had
I
a-
know it wasn't just Chicago, but I know there were no Florida dates announced on that tour. I remember that because at that time I was ready going to concerts. So if they would have came to Florida, I would have seen Led Zeppelin. But you know, when my brother, and that's another thing, when my brother saw the second to last Led Zeppelin show, that was 10 days after I left Germany because I went to see my brother in Germany. Me and my parents went to go visit my brother, and while I was there, I saw the Ramones, Talking Heads, and Boomtown Rats all on one show, and
Wow.
it was New Year's Eve, 79 going into 80 or something like that. And my
Wow.
brother saw, and I remember, dude, vividly, there'd be big posters of Led Zeppelin at the Munich show everywhere. You'd see it everywhere. With other, I remember there was an AC/DC poster. I don't know when that show was, but all these posters. And it was 10 days after I left Germany. I could have seen Led Zeppelin in Germany if I could have just stayed there 10 more days.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, I'm gonna let you guys go, and thank you for having me on. But I do
All
want to
right,
say,
man.
Led Zeppelin
See, man.
Thanks for coming
I
by.
had a
Wear a condom.
night. Always, I have enough children, Ralph. But I did have a Led Zeppelin bootleg shirt that had Led Zeppelin, and then it said canceled, like the tour. Of course, it was bullshit. That was never officially made. And on that note of bullshit, thank you for having me on. Thank you, Ralph. Thank you,
All
Dio.
right.
And Big Al. See you at the next show. So, by
All
the
right,
way,
brother.
I got the email for the Black Crow tickets. Let you know. All right, dude.
All right, there you
See
go.
All right. Later, guys.
Later, brother.
There you go.
All
Yeah,
right,
you got.
guys.
I got tickets for Black Crows for free. So
I want to go to that. It's coming. It's
I'm gonna
coming.
try to work the show here. I'm gonna try to work that show.
It's
on
coming
a
my
day
way.
I'm off.
yeah.
The first show I ever worked, as a runner, professionally as a runner, was Black Crows and Jimmy Page, and that was in July 4th
You
of
know, I missed that fucking
2001.
tour, dude. I wish I would have seen that, man. That must have been amazing. I obviously have the album, and I've seen a lot of bootlegs and stuff, man. It's just amazing, like because they had.
Yeah, it was
It was
great,
cool because
man. Great
it
show.
was cool because it sounded so good because they had three guitars playing all that layered stuff, man. And it
Audley
sounded,
Freed, man, North
yeah.
Carolina boy. Yeah,
Oh yeah, I love Audley Freed was great, man. Yeah.
yeah.
Right on.
Yeah.
So, did everybody finish talking about presents?
No,
I didn't really talk about it, but go ahead, Ralphus. You go ahead.
just not much to add, but just like when they were talking about the drums before, I think For Your Life, he's just so in the pocket, but the drums just really drive the whole song. And it's not like he's doing anything really crazy, but it just seems so right up front and it just drives the song. And Ralph had said that Hot's On for Nowhere was one of his favorite deep cuts from it. And I think that's my least favorite song on the album. Um, recently, me and Tony did a ranking of Led Zeppelin, and that day I had listened to every Led Zeppelin. We did all 9 albums. We included Coda, and I actually listened to them backwards. I started at Coda and went down. I listened to all 9 of them in one day, and like it ended like right as I was like 9 o'clock doing the episode. But this album ranked 7th for me. I put it one above Into the Outdoor, but it was like really hard. That was one of the hardest comparisons for me to which one I like better. But I just ended up putting this one at number 7. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't really have much else to say about this album.
All
You
right,
should.
Al.
I was gonna say when you said you listened to them backwards, like literally, did you
I
listen
was
to every
listening for
album?
I only wanted the satanic messages. I wasn't interested into that wah 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 fucking Robert Plant crying fucking shit.
What am my sweet sighting?
Yeah.
I love that shit. My sweet sighting.
um, as far as Into the Outdoor, I think I agree with you, Ralph. I rank Into the Outdoor above it. So this would probably be if I don't count Coda. I don't hate Coda though, man. I like Coda a lot.
I hate Coda. I
Do
hate
you?
that.
I think there's some good songs
I,
on there, man.
I love We're
Yeah,
Gonna
there's a couple.
Groove. We're Gonna Groove and Wearing and Tearing
Wearing
is
and
awesome.
Tearing, yeah.
The rest sucks. I don't like Poor Tom or Darlene or Bonzo.
Well, yeah, you could tell, they were why they were left off albums.
Yeah,
But
but you know what's crazy about that? These are songs that didn't make albums, and you can totally hear why now. But my favorite Led Zeppelin album is Physical Graffiti, which is full of songs from other albums that didn't make.
exactly.
And those songs are great, like songs that didn't make Led Zeppelin 3, 4, and House of the Holy all ended up on Physical Graffiti, and they're all great songs.
Yeah.
Where this one, it was just weak.
Yeah, it
And
was
to
it
think
was scraping them.
the heaviest song, Wearing and Tearing, was from the Into the Outdoor sessions. That
Yeah.
would have been the heaviest song on the album if they would have added it.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I do dig this album a lot. I mean, I think I could agree with you too that Achilles Last Stand could have a minute maybe shaved off of it. I would probably agree with you on that. For Your
Everything
Life, yeah,
else, yeah.
For Your Life, when I heard it on that reunion tour, like on the DVD, I have a story about that too. I almost went I don't know if I ever told the story on here, but I almost went to that show. So what happened was, one of the radio stations in New York, Q1043, which is the classic rock station, they were doing a Zeppelin weekend when I think at the time it was a remastered version of like I think it might have been The Song Remains the Same, the album and the DVD was put out. So they were having a contest. You call in or whatever if you're the 25th caller, you win the CD and the DVD, and you get entered into winning a trip to the O2 to England to see the O2 concert, right? So they ran it from Friday night. Friday night was the first giveaway. So they did, and I counted how many giveaways they did the whole weekend. It was 10 total. And I was the very last guy that won on Sunday night. Like Sunday night, I called and I actually ended up winning. Like I got in. So I was the 10th guy that won. I was the last one. And I remember I counted how many giveaways the whole weekend was 10. So I had a 1 in 10 shot of like winning that, man. So just to be in that running was like I was so excited, man, and I told my brother and stuff. He's like, "Yeah, you're gonna take me if you win that shit, right?" He was like ribbing me and stuff, and I was like, "Yeah, of course, man, because my brother was the hugest Zeppelin fan, so how could I not take him?" So, but I remember Monday came and on the morning show they announced the winner, and it fucking wasn't me, so I was bummed out. But just to be in that like running, dude, it was I mean, 1 in 10 shot. That's a good odd, man, to win, a trip to England to see Zeppelin. If I would have won that, dude, that would have been holy shit. That would have been the greatest, man. But anyway, I remember when that concert was happening and people were, it was the kind of the infancy of like YouTube, it was like the early days of YouTube, and I was starting to see clips and stuff of it, on air and stuff. So it was pretty exciting time actually. Because what was it? 2007 was it when that happened, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, yeah.
I remember getting
But
a bootleg. Somebody had filmed a
I had
bootleg of
bootlegs
it.
of it. Yeah, yeah. I had bootlegs of it, audio and like DVD bootleg of it and stuff.
Then it
So
came out of Celebration Day, and
yeah,
you didn't need the
I remember
collector.
Yeah, I remember BitTorrent. BitTorrent was like taking off at the time, like BitTorrent downloading and stuff. And I belonged to a site where there was a lot of, it was all bootlegs and stuff of all different bands and genres, and you could download like anything and burn CDs and shit, and I have a ton of bootlegs, just sitting in a box, Zeppelin alone, man, I got like a shitload. I have a whole box just of Zeppelin's. Sabbath, I have like another box. It's just amazing how much shit,
Did,
popped out.
did you
You
go to
know.
the Page
Yeah.
and Plant show when they played the Garden?
Yeah, I went to both tours. I went to
Oh, that's cool.
the unleaded one. They played at Meadowlands Arena in Jersey. I went to that one, and then the walk into the Clarksdale tour. I went to the Garden show, one of the Garden shows.
Yeah,
That was those were incredible shows too.
yeah, that was
I remember.
amazing.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
saw
think
the
I've heard
one.
I don't think I've heard a crowd as loud as like though when they would go into a Zeppelin song, the eruption of the crowd was like incredible, off the chain.
Yeah. And that Garden
Crazy.
show, like it was so much Zeppelin. Like I remember not being that excited about that show because my wife was working with some girl that was her favorite band was Zeppelin. She couldn't believe it was happening. She bought the tickets, and we were just like we were going, and I was like, all right, it'll be cool. They'll play like one or two Zeppelin songs, I thought, and then like the set was just like almost I would say like 85%
Oh
Zeppelin.
yeah,
I was blown
absolutely.
away.
Yeah,
And we had weird tickets. The garden, they didn't have no backdrop for Zeppelin, and there were seats were sold behind the stage. So when we get there, we're sitting down. I'm like, wow, we're behind the stage. This is weird. This is gonna kind of suck. But we were like front row behind the stage. And then I realized, wow, there's no backdrop. So every time they turned around, we were like front row. I mean, you're still kind of far back because we were on the first level, and there was no pit behind the stage.
yeah,
But it was unbelievable seats. I couldn't believe, and that show made me like a 10 times more of a Zeppelin fan after that. Like I started going backwards
yeah. They
and just
sounded,
loving everything.
yeah, they sounded incredible on those tours, man. It
I
was
saw
great.
I saw I saw that tour at the Miami Arena, and they opened with Wanton song, and I was like,
Oh
oh,
yeah,
shit. Here we go. I want to share this. This is my favorite Led Zeppelin bootleg CD, and if you see that Led Zeppelin thing, that's actually a piece of metal that somebody put in here. Ain't that weird?
no shit. Oh
Yeah,
wow, yeah, yeah,
like a
And
pendant, like a
yeah.
pendant
and
That's
or
cool,
something.
dude.
and it's a double CD, like the old school. And what it is it's a show from Vancouver in 1970, Toronto 71, and then what's really cool about this, it has a sound check from Minneapolis from 1975 where they play Night Flight, you know,
Wow.
which that's a song they never played live. And a couple, I can't remember the covers. I think they did like
Hound
a
dog,
Chuck
maybe.
Berry song, and I think they did Thank You.
Uh,
It's fucking amazing. And I don't know, Tony may know, or maybe even Ralphus, the Oh Boy label.
Oh yeah, that
The
was a
old
famous bootleg label.
boy, if you bought an Old Boy a bootleg, expect good quality.
Yeah.
They always release great quality, no audience recording shit.
it's all
Everything,
soundboard, right?
yeah,
Hmm.
Yeah.
soundboard or radio recordings. Old Boy Records. Yeah, I got a bunch of Old Boy bootlegs, but this one's
Hmm.
called Zozo. Zozo's Back to Rock and Roll. That's the name of it. But it's an amazing bootleg. That's my favorite Zeppelin bootleg.
Although there are some amazing audience recorded Zeppelin shows though, because there was a famous taper called Mike Millard. He's very famous in the taping community, and he used a wheelchair to his advantage. He would sneak in a reel-to-reel underneath the wheelchair, and had like external mics, and he would set up during the concert and record. He'd actually elevate the mics a bit above the crowd. And dude, I mean, they could pass the soundboards. As a matter of fact, on that official Zeppelin DVD, remember the Zeppelin DVD they put out with a whole bunch of different stuff
Yeah,
on it, just
yeah,
called Led Zeppelin. On them, when you know how sometimes like when it goes to a menu, right, and you just leave the menu on, it'll actually show like 8 millimeter footage or something like that, something a cool like bootleg kind of footage of a show. They used his audio as like the audio of that of a
uh,
8 millimeter. They synced it up, and it was
Yeah.
amazing. Like he's very legendary. He ended up committing suicide, I think, like in the '90s or something. But he's very. If you're, I was a taper of shows myself. I actually bought a recorder and I recorded a lot of shows. I mean, I don't know if Tony D, I don't know if you remember, I put up a picture of all these DAT tapes of
Yeah.
shows that I recorded and shit. I mean, that's just the tip of the iceberg. I mean, I have cassettes like when I was taping analog and that
Hmm.
and mini disc and all sorts. And then I ended up having just a whole digital recorder would record just on a file. That was my final. And then I kind of retired from that shit. But I recorded a lot of shows. But in the community, he was like one of the top guys, man. Like his shows were legendary. How good they sounded. Because he used great equipment. He used a reel to reel fucking thing to record, dude. That's unbelievable, man. When you think about, I mean, in the '70s, what else were you going to use? Really. I mean, they
I
had
was
the
using
little.
I was a bootlegger too, but one time I was at a Doobie Brothers concert and I was doing this crazy dance and my tape recorder fell out and landed on the ground. The band stopped playing and the crowd looked
Hey,
at me and just
rerun.
yelled shame,
Count
shame,
count
shame until
rerun.
I had to walk out. Oh wait, that's right. That was what's happening.
Yeah.
you you deserve the tongue lashing D gave you.
Yeah,
Oh man.
a friend of mine was at a Doobie Brothers concert last summer, and he posted on Facebook, "I'm at the Doobie Brothers show," and he had like a picture he had taken of everybody standing. I said, "Oh, I see Rerun standing out front."
That's always the biggest joke running, man. It's fucking funny, dude.
Yeah, man.
That whole episode
I
on
used to
you.
get I used to get these bootleg videos. I forgot who the company was, but the intro had like their logo, and it was the audio from that episode of What's Happening, where it was like, what is a bootlegger? And then they would, describe it,
Yeah,
and remember Rerun said, "Can't you just yell at them?"
yeah, yeah.
That whole episode's on YouTube, by the way.
Oh wow.
You could see that
Dang.
whole what's happening. I remember
I used
watching
to
it.
love that show, man.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
man.
that shit's
The
awesome.
Wayne.
70s. All shows in the 70s were
Oh,
awesome. Even
yeah.
Yeah,
the
man.
bad ones were
Good
awesome.
stuff. Yeah.
All right, so
Needle Drop Down mentioned Presence is the only album with no acoustic songs.
Mm,
Yeah,
it's true.
good point. Good
Good
point.
point, man.
because there
Yeah,
is acoustic on All My Love from Led Zeppelin. Because I think that's the only acoustic that you can hear on Into the Outdoor is the middle section of All My Love, which is beautiful. That section with the strings and acoustic.
yeah, yeah,
God, that's so gorgeous.
yeah.
That song.
I
But
wonder, I wonder how like Zeppelin, it always when I hear that album, I always wonder like how Zeppelin would have went into the 80s. And I think they would have probably been like a lot of the other bands like became more keyboard oriented or something.
oh,
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so. I think you got a little bit of what you would have heard like in some of those Robert Plant
Robert
solo
Plant, yeah,
records.
you
Stuff
definitely.
like
know,
Big Log. He was singing
I,
about his big log.
I was watching you yesterday, Tony, on Sea of Tranquility, and you guys were talking about Southern rock, and the question was asked, "What if Skinner didn't die? You think they would have went commercial?" I honestly think they would have totally went commercial. I
Yeah,
think they would have went the seven, and I'll tell you why. I think they would have totally went the 38 special route because their last album, Street Survivor, had What's Your Name, which is kind of that before the 80s came in. That was as poppy as you can get. They were kind
Yeah.
of shifting, and Ronnie Van Zant was dead set on getting on the charts. That's what the song Give Me Back My Bullets is about. Give
Mhm.
Me Back My Bullets is a song about he wants his music to be, going up the charts like a bullet, how they would say back in the
Yeah.
day, going up like a bullet. So Street Survivors had some commercial aspects where I think they would have went that route. So it's good that they died when they did.
Needle Drop Down mentioned Jimmy Page said they were going to make a heavier album after Into the Outdoor. But
Yeah,
well,
well,
yeah. I mean, you could
yeah, well,
it could have went that way too, but I
Paul
don't know.
yeah,
Stanley,
but
Paul,
their version of heavy, I don't think he means like a metal album. It would
No,
have probably
no.
maybe been a more guitar based album and
yeah,
less
but
the keyboards.
you gotta remember Paul Stanley said the same thing after Unmasked. Oh, the next album's gonna be heavy.
Yeah,
Well, it was.
maybe they would have came out with their own version of the Elder.
The Oath is heavier than anything on Unmasked.
Yeah, well, how about Odyssey? That's I think everything on Unmasked is heavier than Odyssey.
Yeah, true.
Or
Good
just the
point.
boy or fanfare. You know what I'm saying? But but all right. So did everybody talk about presents?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I mean, I've always liked it. I always thought it was a cool record. I mean, it's one I don't visit. It's probably there. We really we ranked the Zeppelin albums not long ago on Rock Fantasy, and this one and Into the Outdoor for me, it just kind of goes back and forth between those two. I mean, Coda's always going to be at the bottom of the list, but I like this record overall. I mean, I've always liked Nobody's Fault But Mine. It's always been one of my probably top 10 Zeppelin songs. Just one of their heaviest tracks.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
man.
but yeah, it's a good record.
All right. Now it's time to talk about right here, man. Pleasure to Kill. Creator. Dirty, ugly metal.
Yep,
Ralphus,
super
you go first on this.
thrash.
Well, right off the bat, one of the most badass album covers. I've always debated getting this tattooed on the back of my leg. I really love that artwork. It is so fucking metal. It's so perfect for this album.
Yes.
And you guys get the remastered versions. It comes with this Flag of Hate EP,
Yeah.
which is really killer too. I mean, look at these guys on the back of that album. They're definitely got that Slayer vibe going. They're totally influenced by Slayer. I have a cool story about how I get into this album. So, and there's a family that lives like, but I was lived in like a neighborhood where it was all townhouses, and a family like 5 houses down from me. They had three brothers. One was my age, one was like a year older than me, and then the other one was like 2 years older. And I talked about the youngest one. One day he came over and he had Show No Mercy and Haunting the Chapel on vinyl, and he just came over and he's like, my mom's gonna throw these out if she sees them in the house again. So here, if you want them. And I didn't even know who Slayer was. So that one got me into Slayer for the first time. Then the middle brother, he was the one that I seen on the bus stop wearing an Iron Maiden shirt. He was wearing a Killer shirt, and I was trying to read what it said, and I said Iron Mexican, and he was like, "What the fuck is wrong with you? It's Iron Maiden, man." I look like an
Iron
idiot because I didn't know.
Mexican.
It was the first time trying to read the label. I've told that story before, but the oldest brother, he was going to like a graduation party, and him and this other guy, they thought it'd be funny to bring like some crazy music to play at the party and like kind of hijack the radio. They were gonna like guard the radio and make everybody listen to it. So they actually went out and purchased this cassette just for that purpose. And the next day they didn't need it no more. And he's like, "Yo, we bought this at a party." And they used to call me Metal Church at that time because I had I went to see Metal Church open up for Metallica, and I was wearing the Metal Church shirt, and they just thought that was like the funniest name. So every time they see me, like how they called Dio, Tony Dio, they called Dio. But it was like with me, they would go every time they see me, even if I wasn't wearing a Metal Church shirt, they'd go Metal Church, and they'd give me the horns. It was just like a weird thing that the older kids did. So right away, they thought of giving me this. They go, Ralph will like this thing. And I was just getting into like the thrash and stuff, so I loved it right away. But I knew that there was something really special about this. It was like real dirty and evil as hell, and I was just getting into Slayer at the same time, so I went right along with that. I ended up going out and buying that as soon as it came out, and I remember like they came to L'Amour's at this time, and it was one of those shows like I knew about it and I really wanted to go, but like nobody my age was going. People like a year older than me were getting rides, but you had to get a ride all the way to Brooklyn, and it was hard to get in a car at the time. We are like 16 years old. I'm 16 in 1986, so it's hard to get a ride down to Brooklyn. And I remember it was Kreator and Voivod was like on. They were on the Roar tour, right?
Wow.
Yeah, because the next album, Killing Technology, they came back and they had Celtic Frost they were playing with at L'Amour's, and I couldn't get a ride to that one either. But I remember really wanting to go, and then I remember seeing older kids wearing the Pleasure to Kill shirt like a couple days later in school and stuff, thinking, "Oh man, that's so cool looking." But yeah, that was how I got into that album. But yeah, I mean, there's so many great. There's nothing worth skipping on this album. I love it. It's raw and pummeling. The intro is the only thing that I didn't think was anything special, but Ripping Corpse is a great song. There's a great band from New Jersey called Ripping Corpse. It has Eric Rutan, who went on to Hate Eternal. He's Cannibal Corpse. He became a great producer. But his band in New Jersey, his underground band with Ripping Corpse, got to see him twice. They're a fucking amazing, phenomenal band. They're very influential to a lot of the chaotic kind of music that would come out later in death metal, where it was like kind of off the beaten path. Bands like Gore Guts stopped playing like the traditional death metal and became this weird, chaotic, really insane death metal. And the band Ripping Corpse definitely got the name from this. Death is Your Savior. Ventor, the drummer, is singing on this. And when I was a kid,
Yeah.
when I seen Kreator for the first time, the next album when they played at L'Amour's with DRI on Terrible Certainty, and I remember the song Riot of Violence, Ventor the drummer was singing, and I was like, oh shit, I didn't know he sang on the album back then. It was just, you didn't see video of these bands or nothing, so I thought that was the only song, and it turns out he actually sang three songs on it. And the first one he sings is Death is Your Savior. The title track, The Pleasure to Kill, is just, I mean, they still play that today, even if they're only playing like an opening set with like six songs. They also play Riot of Violence too. They always makes their set list. But Uh, yeah, the Pestilence, another band, Pestilence, from Amsterdam. They took the name probably from that song. I remember the first time I ever heard of the band Pestilence. I got to be a roadie for a day for Kreator and Corner. They did an in store at the Rock Fantasy, and store that I'm friends with, and they were playing this little club there. And during the in-store, they asked Steve Keeler, they said, "Oh, we need some roadies for the days. Tell them they'll get in for free if they help us move a couple things." And I was standing right there, and I was like, "Oh, I'll do it." And I grabbed my friend Yench, who's in Morpheus Descends, and we ended up doing it. We only pushed like a couple cabinets in, and we said, "What do you want us to do now?" And Miller from Creative goes, "Get us cocaine." And they were in a bad mood. That club had no stage, and it was really small. It was like kind of like in between. They were playing like Lemore's like the next day or something. So they were like pissed off. They were playing this little shithole. So they were ready to do coke all night or whatever. But we made some calls for them, and they were like, "These prices are upstate prices. Is not what they're used to. They're used to like city prices, where I guess it was a lot cheaper." So we said, "Hey, we got Killer Bud," and they were like, "Okay." And so we got on the van with them in Corner, and we smoked up with them. And they actually on that in the van, he played me Nothing Face with no singing. They had a copy of Nothing Face with just the music from Voivod because they were friends with them, and they knew that we were Voivod fans. So that was really cool. And then as we were talking, we said, "What's the next big band coming out of Europe?" He goes, "Check out, wait for the band Pestilence." So he was telling us about this band, and there's a song called The Pestilence. So I think there's a connection there. Carry On, it's such fast all the way through. There's no slow parts. The Pestilence has like a great, powerful, slow part, and they got a couple of them throughout this album, and it reminds you of a lot of Slayer, how Slayer would slow it down for that really chugging kind of like mosh part or breakdown. But Command of the Blade, another Ventor singing on that one. Under the Guillotine, the drum rolls just sound so sick. Uh, yeah, then the remaster includes the Flag of Hate EP, which is awesome. Uh, yeah, it's one of the greatest thrash albums ever. Yeah, that's pretty much it. It has a lot of Slayer vibes to it, and that was what was big at the time. But it still holds up today. It's one of my favorite albums. I kind of always have it as a tie with this and Terrible Certainty because I've seen them on Terrible Certainty tour, and I think they tightened up their sound. They didn't sound as sloppy, but there's something about the raw, less produced version of like from Pleasure to Kill that is just amazing. Like I wouldn't really want to change anything. When I listen to it, I don't think, "Oh, the drums are too buried," or this, that. It doesn't have the same clear sound as Terrible Certainty, but it's great in its own way. There's a charm to it the way it is, and I wouldn't change anything. Love it.
Yeah, it's just a good review, man. That perfect review of this album. It's solid. Terrible
I
Certainty.
yeah.
I was gonna say Terrible Certainty is when I kind of got into them. I mean, that was the first thing I ever got by them, and kind of just went back. I remember picking this one up on cassette originally, and it's when you listen to it and you listen to them in chronological order. I mean, they definitely up their game from Endless Pain on this one. You know, it's just it's I just think it's a better record overall. Now Count, didn't the guitar player on this Wolf didn't he pass away?
Uh,
Maybe.
the one from I don't think he passed away. He left the one from who he was with them up until when Blackfire came in, like for Extreme Aggression. They kind of had the same lineup up until that point.
I thought it was a different
He died.
guitarist on
He
Terrible.
died. He died in a car accident or motorcycle accident
Did you look
I
it
don't
up?
remember.
in the
Yeah,
in
I
the
remember
early
hearing.
'90s.
Okay, because it was Trends was the guitarist on Terrible Certainty. Was the other guitarist on Terrible
Oh yeah,
Certainty.
he was already out. He was already out
Yeah,
by then. Yep, that's right.
yeah, yeah. I was thinking
Yeah,
I
'cause
had read
I
something
didn't
that
see him at
that
this
he
time, so
passed
I
away.
forgot. I didn't see him at this time, so I kind of forgot that it was even a different guitar player.
Yeah, I was thinking I read somewhere that he had passed away, but I remember in the like probably around like mid 90s, probably like around 94, 95. There was a shop here. I guess Noise did a whole line of t-shirts of just classic stuff because I had a t-shirt with the with that cover on it, and I had one for Terrible Certainty and a couple of Celtic Frost shirts like to Megatherion, and they had a Into the Pandemonium. But I remember they had them at this shop, and it didn't normally sell like metal shirts, but they had some metal shirts, and those all came out at the same time, and I like bought all of them, you know. But yeah, I always loved that album cover. It's just such a wicked looking album cover. That would make a great tattoo. But yeah,
He
it's just
kind of became like their it kind of became like their Eddie too. Like that's him again, sort of like with the jacket, the jean vest and stuff.
yeah.
I have like three old vintage Terrible Certainty shirts, but I have like a different version of what Ralph's wearing, but I couldn't find it. It's not as vintage though, but it was like a reprint.
Yeah, I always loved the Terrible Certainty when the mascot on there where he's got the jean
Yeah.
jacket and all that, and he's got Kreator carved in his chest. It's just always been cool. But yeah, I mean, it's just a great thrash album. I'd love to see them go back and make an album similar to this, you know. I mean, of
Yeah.
course they're gonna have modern production on it, but what is it? Denny says they have it's all like soccer chant stuff now.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Yeah,
I
we
still
did a
like it. I still like
yeah,
it.
we did a
Don't get me.
comparison with that and the new Megadeth, but it's like I didn't hate it, but it's like at the same time not running out to buy it. If I do buy it, I'll listen to it a couple times if I'm gonna go see him, but I won't just throw it on. If I'm in the mood for Creator, it's gonna be the first like five albums
Well,
down. So there's some good stuff.
I didn't like the last Creator. I thought it was backloaded though. I thought the last few songs on the album was the best part of that album.
Yeah.
It
I mean,
just
I
never
like
picks up. They never go full all out. Like they'll
yeah.
get like kind of heavy for a second, but there's no songs where they just say, "Okay, let's have this one song." They're kind of doing like the Iron Maiden thing, where they're playing it safe the whole time. They like Iron Maiden, they're gonna have these long albums. Throw one fucking fast song on, just one at least. You know, I want more
Yeah.
than that, but throw
Yeah.
yeah.
one on at least, just to make it one highlight. But there's no like highlight to the album. It's like the whole album's like okay.
I thought the
Yeah.
last great one was Enemy of God. That was great.
Yeah, that I like that
I
one,
like
and
that. Right, Violent Revolution. I
Violent
like.
that
Revolution
was
was
that was a good one
awesome.
too.
That was
Yeah.
Yeah, I
awesome.
like those
That
Those
two.
was
two,
kind of like the comeback record for them
yeah.
too. They had kind of in the
Yeah,
States because a lot of their stuff, I don't know, man. It seems like starting with Renewal, they kind of changed the vocal style a little bit, and I like stuff about that record. But after that, it was just a bunch of records that they were kind of experimenting with like kind of
yeah.
almost like gothy
Productions got
type
too clean.
stuff, and
Yeah, the productions
yeah,
got clean. It wasn't dangerous no more. It's boring.
yeah,
They're trying to keep up.
Indorama and
Yeah,
there was a
those
And
bunch of
and the
those.
Rama I thought was the worst one. That was
There,
hard.
I kept this compilation. I had all of them one time when I worked at Sanctuary. We had all of that stuff because we own Noise, and this was a compilation called this one's like Past Life Trauma, and it had some of the little few of the later stuff on it,
yeah.
but with some of the classic stuff as well. But and there was another one that they had too that was more of a compilation of the later stuff, and I wish I'd kept that one because I had a few good songs on it. But
Best of the
yeah, they
magazine has a whole book on noise records, and I tried to get it, and it was sold out. Like I found out about it, and then I looked to go get it one day, and it was already sold out. So I'm hoping that
yeah, I
they,
wanted to get it too. I
yeah,
saw by I think it was on Amazon one time, but it was kind of pricey when it first came out. It may have been an import or something as well.
yeah.
But yeah, but they Creators one of the bands that kind of put noise records on the map, you know. I mean, they were and then they ended up getting signed to a major label there, you know, they signed to Epic Records for the um what was it, the Extreme Aggression album, and then they did Coma of Souls.
Yeah, it was
And
Voivod, Celtic Frost, and Creator were like the three that kind of got me looking at anything that was coming out of noise. But they also had like Running Wild and stuff like that.
Halloween was big for them. You know,
Yeah,
Halloween got
Halloween.
signed to a major label. I remember that was, you know, Noise slash BMG Records, you know, when that was out and stuff, you know. But yeah, Creator's just a great band. I'm planning to go see them next month. They're touring with Carcass. It should be a good show.
Yeah, I
They'll
think
probably
Pleasure to Kill may be like their Master of Puppets or something. Probably their most popular one with the hardcores. But not a lot of
Yeah,
people would say my favorites, right? This is my favorite Creator album, man. A lot of people don't agree with this. Endless Pain, man.
I
All of
like
them.
Endless Pain. Yeah.
Total
I like
Death
it.
is like Total Death is my all-time favorite. The title track and Cry War, Living in Fear, Dying Victims. But then you have Riot and Violence and Under the Guillotine is probably my favorite off of Pleasure to Kill. But Pleasure to Kill is fucking awesome though. It is an awesome album. It is like this but more refined. Kind of like what Kill 'Em All, Master of Puppets. I kind of
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
because this is like extremely dirty. And this is like the create. I liked all these like German bands, especially Sodom. Sodom's my favorite. But then it's Destruction, then it's Creator. And really it's like the Inferno Overkill, all that early shit. Everything before Agent Orange with Sodom, like Persecution Mania, maybe my favorite, that EP.
That's exactly my favorite one. Is Persecution Mania is the
Yeah,
best.
Blasphemer has to be one of the most vicious, if not the most vicious, German thrash song ever. Is Blasphemer.
I
And that,
have a I
yeah,
have a Creator before they were created. They were called Tormentor. I have a CD that has it's split with them and Destruction, but it was like a bootleg split. But they were called Tormentor, and they were like even a little dirtier than the Endless Pain because they were just like so new at their instruments. But it was
Wow.
basically the same thing before they changed the name from Tormentor to Creator.
very cool.
Yep.
All
That
right.
that's out. I've seen that. I think Hell's Headbangers had that, like a bootleg album of that you could get. Yeah, of those demos. Yep.
I saw
Great
Creator.
stuff.
I saw Creator a few years ago when they toured with Merciful Fate and Midnight.
Yeah,
Um,
went to that
yeah,
show, Brooklyn.
uh, that went to the one in Philly.
Oh,
I remember walking outside and I ran into Steven Keeler and Ryan Scow. And I was like, yeah, I know you guys from fucking Sea Tranquility and shit, and so they were cool. We were bullshitting for a little while, but yeah, it was a
they
great
were
show
at the
because I,
Brook. They were at the Brooklyn show too, and
yeah,
they went to both shows during the week. I only went to the
yeah,
one.
I
Yeah,
only went to the Philly one.
the last time I saw Creator was with Midnight, and it was a weird situation because we were coming back from Colombia playing the shows over. And I'm sorry, Costa Rica, and we flew back, but we flew back to Tampa,
Mm.
and we had somebody pick us up at the airport, and they played Ybor City at some club I played at with Overkill. I forgot the name of the club, but it
The
was in
Ritz, the Ritz.
was it the Ritz? I can't remember.
All right,
I know it was
that's
in
that's
Ybor City.
yeah, Ybor City. The Ritz is like the main that they get a lot of the metal and punk shows and all
Uh,
that stuff down here.
I
So
believe it was 2011 or 10. We played Ybor City with Overkill, but I saw Midnight and Creator there before. Well, the first time I saw Creator was a little late. The first time they ever came to South Florida was Coma of Souls. That was the first time I ever saw them. And they had a great opening band called Morgarath. You probably know him, Ralphus.
Morgoth
Morgarath.
from
Morgoth.
Morgoth from
Morgoth.
Germany. Yeah, they were
Yeah.
fucking awesome. They were like
They
Germany's
were,
answer to Death. Their first two albums were so classic. They were a band that should have gotten way huger. And I seen them open up for Morgoth open up for Creator, but Biohazard was also on the bill. Biohazard at that point were getting thrown onto every thrash bill in the area, and their friends would come and start fights with all the metalheads and hardcore guys would fight all the time. But I remember it was supposed to just be the Morgoth Creator tour. I actually have a tour shirt for Morgoth from that show still, and yeah,
that was
they
co-
were huge. But
that was Coma of Souls, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
yep.
that's the tour. That's the first time they came down here with Morgoth.
They disappeared shortly after. I mean, I think they did one more album, but they kind of changed their sound, and then they just
Yeah.
kind of disappeared because the early stuff they sounded like a hungry, evil, like Death, the band Death. That they
Yeah,
sounded like a new
that
version
album
of them.
Cursed. Curse
Yeah, that's
was
yeah,
that's a
incredible.
really good one. Yeah, when I saw him, it was Creator, it was the Coma of Souls tour, and it was Morgoth with in support, and there was a band called Blitz Spear that was kind of a thrashy crossover type band that were on Epic Records as well. So that's probably how they got thrown on that package. But they had the middle slot, yep. But we were hanging out with the Morgoth guys, and they were all super cool, and yeah, fun show.
Well, right
Yeah.
on, everybody. Before we leave, any last comments from the peanut gallery?
Kind of died down after the Zeppelin thing. I don't know if everybody left us during Kreator or
Posers!
what.
I got one thing to say about like last week we were talking about suicide in the beginning. I don't know if you guys have been seeing all the, even if you're not familiar with the guy, but Bo Luders, he's 38 years old. He's the guitarist of a Hard Arms Way. But he's a co-host
You broke
of
up.
another.
You broke up there for a second, man.
Oh,
Who is it? He's the
he
guitarist for who?
he's the guitarist for a band called Harm's Way, and
Hmm.
they're pretty big hardcore band. But him and he co-hosts a YouTube channel like like Ralph does here, and it's called Hard Lore, and they'll do like 3 hour interviews with people, and it's like they did an interview with the guy Paris from the Cro-Mags, and it was like 2.5 hours, the most in-depth one you ever see of an interview with a guy like him. When they did Vinny Stigma from Agnostic Front, like they went to Vinny Stigma's apartment in New York City, and like they flew into New York City to do it, and they just have like these really cool, awesome interviews, and then they do interesting like battles where they had like charts made up, and they'd have people like voting in and who's heavier or harder and whatever, but it's just a real shame that he killed himself, I guess. And only 38 years old, a lot of people loved him, and he just seemed like a really happy, friendly guy, if you watched his YouTube channel. But I just wanted to say rest in peace to old Looters. I'm
Yeah,
sure some people know who he is.
and like I said last week, man, be kind to people, man. You don't know what they're
Yeah.
going through. Just be kind to people. Unless they're a dick, then fuck them. But
Yeah.
people, there's so many people that smile that they're dying on the inside and you don't know it. So it doesn't take a lot of fucking energy to let somebody know that you love them. All your friends out there, just reach out to them and just give them a call and say, hey, how you been? Is life treating you good? You got any problem? I mean, and I say that to every one of my viewers, any one of you. I know we don't know each other, but come to me. If I'm here for you. If you got any problems, I'm here for you. I've been through darkness. Yes, I've never contemplated suicide in my life, but that doesn't mean I don't understand because I've been through severe depression, but not so depressed where I wanted to off myself. But just to let you all know, if you're going through some hard shit right now, trust me on this. Things get better. They always do. You're always going to find challenges, and there's probably going to be something even worse ahead. But believe me, that thing worse ahead will get better because you just got to believe in yourself and believe because I believe in you. All of us have that spirit that if we want it, we can grab it and we can get it. And don't let life beat you down, man, because life is special. You don't know what's on the other side. All I know, man, I hope there's Black Sabbath on the other side. That's why I want to stay alive as much as I can, just in case there's no Black Sabbath on the other side. It's beautiful, man. It's got a lot of horrible things. I've been through hell, me and Ralphus and Tony, and I don't know about you, Al, but we all lost our dads, so
No, I didn't lose mine yet, but
well,
my parents are getting up there though. They're
cherish
83.
them,
I
cherish them
do.
because what happens, and Ralphus and Tony can admit to this, when you lose a parent, it leaves a hole in you, and what happens
Oh
with that
yeah.
hole, it becomes a little more like, it cures itself on the outer limits, but you're always going to have that hole there.
Yeah.
And when, I'm getting to the point where it's going to be 2 years now, I'm feeling a little better where the hole is a little refined. But there isn't a day that goes by I don't think of my dad. And that's the bummer of life. But you know what? Got to carry on. That's what my dad would have wanted. And everybody out there, if you're going through hard times, I'm here for you. And there's a lot of people here for you. All right. So be strong, carry on. And if you need an ear, I'm here for you. That's all I got to say.
I think your show makes a lot of people happy, bro. You know,
I-
dude, watching.
Unless you're
Hey,
Sammy
listen.
Hagar, he's not going to
Well,
reach
Yeah,
out.
well,
that's the exception, but that's all right though. But anyway, I
I
know
even,
during I know
I even, yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry. No, I was just saying, I know during COVID, it was really kind of like, your show and Sea of Tranquility and,
Yeah,
Decibel
man.
Geek, all those shows, man, like it inspired me to just kind of just jump on YouTube and just make my little bullshit videos or whatever. But it's fun, man. But watching you guys made me happy, man. And even when you had your radio show too, Ralph, I'd always tune in and, listen to all that good music you'd play. And it was
Yeah,
great.
and I really do enjoy doing this show with you guys because you guys are my friends, and I love shooting the shit with you guys. It's always fun. Our shows are never scripted. We don't know what the fuck we're gonna talk about. We
Yeah.
just turn on the recorder and let it, because that's how it is. When you go to a bar, you're not gonna think your buddies at the bar. And that's
Yeah,
what kind
exactly.
of this is. This is us being in a bar and me being the pussy that won't drink alcohol while you guys drink. But I'll still be there, I'll smoke a little weed before I go in the bar.
I always thought shows like this was just like the old days when you would have just a couple of friends come over your house, man, and
Yeah, that's
you
what
know
it is. That's what
throw
it
throw
is.
this
Yeah.
throw this on the turntable or throw this into the tape deck and listen to music together and just talk about all different types of shit.
Yeah,
It's
talk
just the
about
same thing. Yeah,
concerts
talk.
that you went to. Who'd you
Yeah,
see in your state? And the great thing about the whole YouTube community and stuff is you find these people that you can relate to. Like I was watching Sea of Tranquility too, and thinking, oh, this is cool. Like if they bring up a topic, I'm thinking, what would I say if I was there? And it's like
yeah,
you just feel like you're relating to certain people, and you become friends. Like I become friends with Al, like on YouTube. Like I didn't know Al before, this, and then it's like, you want to do the show? Well, okay, and that we become friends like on the
yeah.
show. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Sometimes, dude, sometimes I text Tony Dio, like I think of something and I'm like, dude, like I don't know, I was at a thrift store and I asked him about like, hey, what do you think of this band? Because I never really kind of heard them. He's like, they're kind of deathcore, it's not really my thing and shit like that and whatever. But I would just text him and or same thing with Ralph, man. Once in a while, I text
Don't
him, hey,
lie, man. It was a Culture Club album, and I told you I didn't like it.
Yeah, you should have called me. I would have convinced you to buy it.
But anyway, no, I'm glad, I became friends with all you guys. You guys are awesome,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah, and I feel, hey, the feeling's mutual, man. You guys are fucking awesome. You guys are, my speed. You're not dick lick jelly cakes. You're all cool, man. You're all
Dick lick
cool.
jelly cakes. All right.
Yeah, that's something I came up with half of that. Some guy left a comment the other day going, "Oh, they're nothing but dickhead jelly cakes," and I changed it to dick lick jelly cakes. And then
I kind of
somebody told me, "Dude, go back to pickle whistler. I don't like dick lick jelly cake." And I was like, "That's because you're a dick lick jelly cake."
or bang bang pizza skulls.
That one I did retire. But yeah, I got to give you the funniest thing is how I came up with Bang Bang Pizza Skulls. It's the funniest story ever. It's my drummer, my old drummer. One day I get a text and it says Bang Bang Pizza Skulls, and I was like, "What the fuck?" And then he wrote back, "Dude, I'm sorry, my pocket wrote that." Like he was in a. It was like a butt text that said Bang Bang Pizza Skulls. That's where that came from. And I was like, oh my God, Bang Bang
Who
Pizza
sent
Skulls.
that to you, Brian?
It was Alex Marquez.
Oh, it was Alex.
Yeah. And
That's
he's
funny
like,
as
dude,
hell.
I just butt text you. I was like, Bang Bang Pizza Skulls. I love it. But I did retire that because I have too many sayings. You got Schmack 'em a gob, and I just,
I remember when you used to do you used to do the big when you used to do your the only news that matters, but you used to do all the news stories in one. Like now you split
yeah,
them up, you break them all up.
yeah,
But
yeah.
when you used to do the big one,
And now,
like
yeah, and I would only do it once a week. And
yeah,
also back then, I would make people send videos in of them saying "Schmack 'em a gob," and a
yeah,
lot of people,
yeah, Kayla, I had Kayla, I recorded
oh, did
Kayla
you?
saying that, and
Oh,
I
cool.
sent it into you, and I remember you introed it at one of your videos. It was
Yeah,
just her.
I've
It
had
was just
several people have their little kids say it.
Yeah, it was just her sitting.
So
there making-
Kayla must have been very young at the time.
Yeah, at the time. I mean, she's gonna be shit. She's gonna be 18 in May, dude.
So
You
she was
know?
like maybe 14, 13 then?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So she was like smack him a gob. She give the horns, and my dog, just as she's saying that, my little dog Daisy like jumps up on the couch. It's pretty funny, man. It's
That's awesome.
yeah.
That's awesome.
So
I
anyway,
should-
man.
I should go back to that, have people send a little smack 'em a god, put them at the beginning. But anyway, hey, it's been a great show, guys. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
man.
Ralphus, it's awesome having you back, dude.
Cheers, man.
really
Great to have you back, Ralphus.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
And
Glad to be back.
and again, Al, Tony, and of course myself. Fuck me, man.
Oh,
Me.
you got-
Think yourself.
All right. Hey, everybody. Smack 'em a gob and bang bang pizza skulls.
Later.
Bang, bang, pizza skulls.